Turn your radios up. Turn your radios up. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know who this is. B-Eazy Dat Dude, an impromptu stream back with another one. This one will be a banger. Will ruffle some feathers, but it will be a doozy. I don't like to keep y'all waiting. So before we get this thing started, I gotta hit you.
If you know the song, sing along. Yeah, you're right.
私も地元民と言っても自分は世代です。もう友達できたの？うん。ぶったまんまこっち見ない。
Look, this promethazine got me leaning like a cholo in the club. I'm 20 deep. I don't be riding solo. Pull some bad bitches, they vanilla and cocoa. They wanna take some photos when we kick it out in Soho. Chicks are showing tits and popping pussy for my promo. Told them like juvenile, baby, moving for me slow-mo. Then I'm right back to the block, cause I keep getting moto. I be flipping, not shrinking. I don't give a fuck about no ho. This nigga name ain't D-Lo, but pimpin' these bitches and stacking this bread forever be my stilo. This is B-Eazy Dat Dude in the trap making packs smooth. If I ever go broke, then I'm about to pull a jack move. Since a nigga healthy, I don't even gotta worry. With my bitch from Fiji eating tandoori and chicken curry, that ism is really indie. My pimp game international. I design my own clothes, so I be always looking fashionable. Here's a couple facts about me that y'all didn't know. Some of y'all be getting bread, but I be getting bigger, dawg. I got bigger guns and a whole lot of bad.
And we are activated. And it looks like we've been joined by, I think this is an illustrious guest, an anonymous guest. Shout out to Liam Barr sliding through. Everyone that will be viewing this live concurrently and that will be watching this on the replay. Now, depending on how this stream go, I may not be here for a long time, but it will be a strong time. I do plan on coming back and hitting y'all later with a double header with an illustrious guest that will be joining the stream. So let me go ahead and get the banner right. I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing down. But while I'm discussing, y'all can see the title, Psychologically Projecting Blackness Onto Others. in the biracial Babble breakdown. This is what we are going to get into, right? I'm going to talk about the legitimate arguments that some biracial mixed people are making. And then there are some illogical fallacies, some contradictions, and some incoherent babbling and prattling at times, right? I do believe there is sometimes people are trying to proselytize, psychologically project, force assimilation in certain ways. Uh, there's also something called identity imposition, and it refers to the attempt of attempting to make someone adopt a particular social, cultural, or personal identity against their will or independent choice. So many times people will try to say, hey, well, if the cops pull you over, they would see you as this, or society sees you as that. And when you do that, you take away people's intellectual sovereignty, their ability to self-identify what they believe more comfortably suits them racially. And I'm not talking about the people who say that they're transracial, they're white, and they say, I identify as a black person, even though I'm racially classified as white. I'm talking about people who have mixtures, who would be considered as biracial, triracial, etc. Oftentimes people project blackness on them based on the one drop rule, which, is just a form of white supremacy. And when people talk about colorism is just a feature, a bug, and an extension of white supremacy. Because when you're talking about colorism, the lighter shade spectrum of your skin pigment is always what's favored, is always what's preferred. So, just like in dub supremacy. So we're going to get into this video. This video is from a channel called Dioza M. So salute to Dioza M. Only has 61 subscribers. And this is the disclaimer. This video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. I do not own the rights to this video. However, I am practicing fair use. Now, this is what she says. I'm going to assume that Dioza M is a she. Why do black and white people who have biracial children continue to lie to their offspring about their genetic makeup? And grammatically, it's horrible. So I'm just, fixing it. This way of thinking is detrimental to black women and biracial children, specifically the woman. Is this what we want for future biracial people, to have this continuous identity crisis? So that's what this person says in their opening intro to this video, because this video is making the case that biracial people are not black. And here is the perspective of one biracial woman. So let's see what she has to say. And y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat. Now, some people say, oh, this doesn't matter. Well, actually, it shouldn't matter, but it does matter, because many people call it an identity crisis. But with some, it's not an identity crisis. It's a identity affirmation. And though you don't like that affirmation because it doesn't suit your narrative, whatever you want to proselytize and project onto them, that's how they self-identify. All right. So we're going to get into this, and this is a reaction video, and we're going to unpack some biracial babble, but the legitimate arguments that are being made. So I'll be bouncing back and forth from the video like such to make it transformative and giving my commentary. So let's get into this.
Outside of your race. I am sick and tired of black women having biracial children and not validating them as biracial. If you want black children, have children with a black man. You're having children with non-Black men, lying to them about their biracial identity, and that's what causes racial identity issues.
Long as you sing. Oh, my mom is Dominican, Cuban, my dad.
And sometimes they're playing music, so I will have to mute.
This is what happens when people support our racial identity instead of our genetic identity.
Half black. Ain't no such thing as half black. You don't mix white milk with chocolate milk and get half chocolate milk. When you ever see half chocolate milk? What kind of milk is this? It's half chocolate.
If you are biracial and you're constantly shoving your Black identities down everyone's throat, you're an anti-Black bigot.
I have identified as Black my entire life because that's how I've been treated. That's how I've been labeled.
So a lot of this stuff I'm going to let play, and then, I'll chime in here and there. But some people, Blackness to them is a costume, a circumstance, and a condition, right? They say, hey, I was treated as a Black person, or I was called a Black person, but oftentimes many of these people don't identify as a Black person. And then people will come and try to project and say, see, the cops identified you as this, so therefore you are that. And if you believe in intellectual sovereignty, in bodily and cultural autonomy, then you will say that, okay, yes, these people do have a right to adopt, whatever cultural ethnic identity they choose. Don't try to project what you see them as. So many of these people, for them, Blackness is a costume. If they want to come to the cookout and they want to be able to say the N-word, then hey, I'm Black. But then the rest of the time, they want to be viewed as racially ambiguous, as something other than Black. But then when you treat them and say, okay, fine, we respect you, but you're something other than Black, then they try to pivot and say, hey, you're being colorist. It's like, how? You said that you weren't Black, but it's like, but I'm wearing the Black costume. It's like, it's not something you just take on and put on and discard depending on which environment and community you're around. But there's many biracial people that say they're not Black, and there's a bunch of Black people that project Blackness onto them. And then when others say, nah, you're not Black, then they, many, not all, start crying victim. See, the whites don't accept us and neither do the Blacks. It's like, you didn't even want to be Black. You said that you were something different. I'm not Black, I'm mulatto. I'm not Black, I'm Creole, right? You wanted to be something other, then you get treated as other, and then you blame it on colorism. It's like, just stop. So I'm gonna fast forward to some more of it.
I've been on TikTok for a year trying to fight the same thing, trying to make people understand that sometimes you could look white and you're not white.
I am a white passing black and white mixed redhead.
And then she goes, well, what are you mixed with? I look back at my white mom. White and Jamaican. White and black.
Okay, I want to talk about something that's been weighing on my mind lately because I just wanted to see if any other...
All right, and finally, we got some illustrious guests that have slid through. We got none other than Shepherd, FMA, Progress, the foundational mixed American, and we've got the hardest working mod on YouTube, Vibrant Low. So Shepherd says the FMA doesn't police identity. With that said, I will honor my mother and father because I'm both Black and white. And that's what I respect. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm saying. You have to respect this person's identity, right? I always say it like this. And then unfortunately, some people get mad and get triggered because they feel like, hey, you shouldn't compare people to food. But I'm only just trying to make the comparison so you understand the analogy, right? There's something called a peanut butter sandwich, right? So you take 2 slices of bread and you put peanut butter on both of those slices of bread. And then there's something called a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? So if I ask you, hey, bring me a peanut butter sandwich, and then you bring me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and say, hey, well, it's the same sandwich because it has peanut butter on it. Is it really the same sandwich, right? So that's all people are saying, right? If I ask for chocolate ice cream and then you bring me, 2 scoops of chocolate and 1 scoop of chocolate and 1 scoop of vanilla, is it the same ice cream just because both bowls have chocolate ice cream, right? So some foundational mixed Americans, biracial Americans, they want to be identified as both. And you shouldn't project, no, you're just one, right? You're just chocolate ice cream. It's like, no, I'm a mixture of chocolate and vanilla ice cream. No, you're just chocolate. It's like, no, actually, I'm not, right? And some believe that it does a disservice to actual Black people who are quote unquote fully Black, but none of us are fully anything. But I'm just saying, in terms of the phenotypical, psychological, and visual perception, because that's all it is. Hey, we perceive you to be this way, but just because you perceive something to be that way doesn't make it true, right? If you put some sugar and a salt in a shaker, you may perceive that shaker to have sugar in it, but it could actually be salt. So perception isn't always reality, although it does shape reality. So I believe people should have their ethnic and cultural sovereignty to be able to identify how they see fit within reason, right? Like, again, like I said, I don't want to see some Lily W person saying, hey, my name is Jerome and now I'm blacker than black. You feel me? But it's like you grew up with a silver spoon in Wyoming. You know what I mean? So I don't believe in the transracial identity. However, I do believe in people being able to identify ethnically and culturally how they see fit. And yes, there's some mixed people that say, hey, yeah, I'm mixed, but I identify as being Black. And there's some mixed people that say, hey, I'm mixed and I identify as being mixed. I'm not anti-Black. I'm not anti-white. I'm both. So I love both. I'm not one or the other. I'm both. And you have to acknowledge that, and don't try to say, no, you're not one or the other, because if the cops pull you over, they gonna see you as this. My identity isn't determined by what the cops think, right? The cops may pull a Japanese person over and think that they're Korean or Chinese. Does that change their Japanese lineage, their Japanese heritage, just because an ignorant cop pulled them over? And if an ignorant cop pulls me over and say, hey, I thought you was this, I'll respectfully remind and correct them. It's not that hard to do. And Shepard says, I'm not a fan of the word mulatto. And this is the thing. There's many mixed / mulatto people that find it offensive. And then there's a person that comes on this page, some troll. I think he's like a Puerto Rican tether, you know what I mean? But I believe he is a mixed person, right? And he goes on talking about, he wants to unite the mulattoes all across the world, even though he's always in Black business. So many mulattoes, they're like, well, I ain't Black. Why y'all call yourselves a color? It's like you're calling yourself a mule. And fine. I mean, if we can reclaim the N-word, I mean, people can reclaim mulatto. So I don't really think it's that much of an issue, but I'm not a mulatto, so I don't police that terminology. However, there are many people that do find that term offensive. And then there's other people that are trying to have a reclamation process of that word. And yes, this is fair use. It looks like we got some people rolling in. This one will be a banger. So y'all should want to stick around. You said don't come down south then. See, this person, I don't know who this person is, Ralph Collins. When you come in, properly announce yourself. You know what I mean? Wipe your shoes off before you come. And then, like, what are you even responding to? So much stuff has been said. The video has been played. I'm responding to comments. Who and what are you responding to? So look, I don't mind the trolling. I don't mind the contrarian views, but let's just have some level of scholarship when we're dealing with the seriousness and the weight of a discussion like this. Don't come down south then. Like, bruh, you or he, she, they, whoever or whatever you are, you don't even have a profile pic. So are you making a threat? Is this a veiled threat? Or are you just giving advice? What are you saying? And Ralph, I don't know if you are a brother. I'm hoping you are a brother, but gotta hit you.
What? Hope, please.
Nigga, please.
Hope.
Nigga, what?
Nigga.
Nigga, please. Nigga, please.
What?
And of course, we've been joined by Mr. 350, the big block boat rider. Big rig slaps. And look, as I was reading that, we got a tether alert. I gotta man, I gotta get a drop for that. We got a tether, so we can already see this Nigerian person. You can already peep the hairline. Bro, trying to have the FBA hairline. Come on, bro. This looked like somebody cut your stuff with a butter knife. That ain't, bro. You don't got a hairline. They seared your hairline on, bro. Man, that hairline. Hey, that hairline go further back than the throwback string. This hairline go further back than a DeLorean. A kata babble. You see, like they already coming in with the slurs, so it's okay, bruh. But like I said, come in with some level of scholarship. But hey, I didn't even think I was gonna be able to hit him this hard. As a matter of fact, I want to thank this Nigerian tether for coming in, because I didn't think I was even gonna get to use this. I didn't plan on using this. You saying y'all desperate to make biracials black, but first of all, who is the y'all? So again, he's delineating. When he says y'all, he's talking about foundational black Americans. So again, we all black. No, Nigeria is super divided, bruh. They got a bunch of tribes over there, and many of them are getting smacked around by Chinese people. Some 4'11" Chinese people is going to Nigeria, telling them what to do, bossing them around and smacking them up. There's no foundationals doing that, but instead he's over here calling us Akatas. You said, but no one can tell y'all that y'all are African. Well, why are you so desperate to call us African? Notice that he's not even calling himself African. He's calling himself Nigerian, right? But but Nigeria is in Africa. Well, since you're so proud to be African, won't you call yourself that you're a foundational African, since you want to speak about the motherland? But no, he's delineating. He's specifying about Nigeria. If we're all African, why are you Africa isn't just about Nigeria. Why are you limited it to Nigeria, right? So you see, they love this term Africa, but only when they can project it on us. And this is a form of proselytizing. This is a form of projection. This is a form of identity imposition. Y'all African, right? And Africans in Africa aren't even calling themselves Africa. He's Nigerian, right? They're over there smacking each other upside the head. I'm Igbo, you're Yoruba. Why do y'all have all those tribes? You're all African. Instead, y'all got a bunch of different tribes speaking different dialects. And then he's over here whining to us. Come on, bruh. Y'all do the same thing to biracials. Who is the y'all? And hey, foundational tether. Gotta hit ya.
Hey, I got a question, cause I really need to know. Do you ever get tired of being a bitch ass nigga? Ass nigga. A pussy ass nigga. Pussy ass nigga. Do you get tired? Do you get tired?
Bruh, do you get tired?
Joke. Who is this Rudy Poo?
Hey, I'm just saying, bruh. Bro, when they talking about monkeys and sub-Saharan, they talking about you, bruh, with your bush meat butter knife hairline. Come on, bro. You're not intellectually formidable enough to challenge me in a foundational tether. Just so we're clear.
Okay, see, now you found yourself a nigga. You was looking for a nigga. Nigga here now. See.
Okay. Today's forecast: dark and cloudy, and chance of drive-by.
This shit just got rigged. What you gonna do, bitch?
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do.
You ever heard of rolling 20s, nigga? Since I was 16, nigga. Okay. See, what he thought was he could come up in here and make the rules, but now he see that I run this bitch, and now he about to bounce.
Now you don't gotta bounce, but bruh, if you just keep, going on this toxic tether tirade, I may have to sit you in the corner so you can eat some bush meat and think about, go ahead and eat some lemon peppered leopard legs with the jollof, or some baby back hippopotamus booty. I know that's your type of cuisine. Go sit in the corner, bruh, and let the big boys take it from here.
Biracial people felt this way.
Hey, did these motherfuckers just cross the street because I'm black?
I'm mixed race, I'm proud, and there's not a goddamn thing you could say or do to make me apologize for it.
At points they keep playing music, so I gotta mute it. So let me fast forward to her talking.
Race people don't exist unless they adopt a monoracial identity. It also falls under racial conversion. I've talked about this before. I was friends with a black girl that I did not know was so anti-mixed race, and members of her family sat me down for what felt like 5 hours, interrogating me to racially identify as black. He's talking the way that they talked. He's doing racial conversion on TikTok. His tactics are used against mixed race people all the time, in school, at work, in social settings, in roommate settings. Any setting where the conversation is around race. It's not like they're going to kill you if you don't identify as monoracial. It just feels unsafe to be around people who don't think you exist as a mixed race person. It's the equivalent to mixed race people what white supremacy is to black people. This creator.
So if you see, and I'm going to break that down, but if you see the subtlety in what she's saying that many quote unquote black people don't see biracial people as their own separate race or mixed race or and all this other stuff. So she's trying to say that it's not a safe space to be around people like that. Now, she doesn't explicitly say it like that, but she kind of taps, dances, and says that, right? But then on the flip side, she wants to be honored as a mixed race person, but then she's part white, and white people are not honoring her as a mixed race. They're only honoring that once it's juxtaposed to a foundational black American or a highly melanated person, right? So she wants us to honor that she's biracial and mixed, but white people don't see her as mixed. They see, man, you're an N-word. You know what I mean? So they want to create their own biracial utopia, which I'm not saying, hey, you shouldn't want to have mixed race Wakanda or biracial Wakanda, right? If y'all want to do that, do you. I'm all for it. But then again, y'all got to stay out of black business. Y'all got to stop dropping these N-bombs. Y'all got to stop culturally tethering, because remember, you said you're not us, right? These people don't want to see. Let's put it in sports terms, right? We all on the Lakers, and you like, bro, I really don't want to be on the Lakers, bro. I want to be on the Warriors. And then we saying okay, well, we can't share plays with you. We can't talk about strategy anymore because, you're on the Warriors now and we're on the Lakers. Hey, you can't shut me out. Where's the playbook? Y'all need to tell me what y'all doing. It's like, you're not a Laker anymore. You're on the Warriors, bro. I wish you well. I hope you have a successful season, but you're not part of this team anymore. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, people don't want to see it and make these ethnicities as these sports teams and stuff, but that's kind of how it is. It shouldn't be like that, but that's how it is, right? That's why all these people have these ethnic enclaves. That's why people create a Chinatown, even though Chinese people are Asians. They're not creating an Asia town. They want a enclave that's ethnically Chinese, that's culturally Chinese, that's economically power circulates through Chinese dominance, right? Same thing with Japantown. They don't want their town called Asia Town, So some of these mixed race people, they're like, hey, don't call me this or that, you know what I mean? But where's these mixed race utopias, and where exactly are they going to create them at? You know what I mean? Because a lot of them are not really trying to create a mixed race utopia. They're trying to be racially ambiguous and play both sides. Because if you want to be mixed, which, go ahead, but it's like you gotta like draw a line in the sand. You know what I mean? You need to where's the historically mixed colleges, right? You know what I mean? Say it loud, I'm mixed and I'm proud. I don't think they should be tore down, demonized, ridiculed, or ostracized. But then again, you're saying that you're something other. So if you get treated as other, which you shouldn't be treated horribly, you just should be treated as other, right? If I go into a Jewish neighborhood, they're going to treat me as other. Maybe they'll treat me good. Maybe they'll treat me bad. They'll treat me as a other, as they should, right? Even when they talk about Mama Africa, you go there and they're going to treat you as a other. They may give you respect. They may shake your hand and be happy that you're there. But just because they're happy in your presence at that moment doesn't mean that you're the same. And we've been joined by the 504 boy, Woody Braxton. Salute to the New Orleans family. And we already know that, bro, the foundational tether, bro, I'm not even paying attention, bro. You're going to have to put some in the Cash App for me to really start paying attention, because I know you're just here to, so you can kind of tether away in the chat. But this person, who I don't know, is this another suspected tether? I don't know. Let's see. You can find your own identity, whether it be a mulatto or otherwise, but it does not have to be juxtaposed against that which is vitriolic against the continent. He's going to say he does not understand. Again, some other random, vague, like, who is the he you're referring to? If it's me, then like put a name on it and speak specifically and plainly with your chest, because no one said anything vitriolic about the continent. And again, against the continent. What continent are you referring to? There's not only one continent. I'm on a continent right now in my homeland. It's called America. That's my motherland. So again, what continent are you talking about? Because many people come over here and they're vitriolic towards this continent. So come on, bro. Start with the vague, incoherent babble. But let's get back into the video, though. We're talking about, the identity crisis of some biracial people. Is it a crisis or is it an affirmation?
Scorpioski is biracial and pro-black. Her bio says Black Lives Matter, pro-black. She made a video defending biracial people taking up black roles in media.
Placing the blame on biracial people.
She's saying that biracial people should not be blamed for taking up black roles in media. Listen to this creator's response.
It is not biracial people.
Interesting. So I didn't get the memo that I couldn't say no. If a white person approached me and said, hey, can you play a role designated for a more melanated black woman? And I'd rather use you because of your light skin ambiguity. It makes me more comfortable. I say no.
I'm biracial. I only audition if the role is for mixed race, racially ambiguous, unless it says all races. Otherwise, black erasure. How are you pro-black, but you are saying that biracial people are not at fault for taking up black roles in media? You made a video titled, There is no such thing as the mixed race. Abolish black, white, biracial pride, but you said there's no such thing as the mixed race. You make another video, no one wants biracial people to be ashamed of being biracial. Thought you said the mixed race doesn't exist.
My father is white and my mom is black, therefore I am biracial.
First you say there's no such thing as a mixed race, then you say you're biracial, then you say you're black. You made a video saying that I'm anti-black and racist because I told you to accept your mixture. You said that this comment, African Americans complain almost about everything, is anti-black. The person who wrote the comment, beautiful South African black queen. Your whole page is you responding to hate.
Then again, so that point that she made, because there was a chick that said African Americans complain about everything, which that's a lie, but let's just say that we did. Let's say that African Americans, which I don't use that goofy term, right? That's a disgusting, nebulous term that was just designed to erase the foundational population, right? If we're complaining all the time, but you're complaining about us complaining, guess what you're doing? Complaining. And that's what a lot of these people do. All y'all do is complain. Well, if all we do is complain, why are you complaining about us complaining? Right? You're literally doing the same thing that you're complaining about. So how are you any better? You know what I mean? It's like all y'all do is play basketball while you're shooting a basketball. It's like, bro, why are you shooting a basketball while complaining about others that just play basketball all day? Does this sound logical to you? But you've been convinced that yes, it makes sense. Not only that, this was a South African tether talking about how African Americans complain and all this stuff. And mind you, in South Africa, again, there's a bunch of Lily W people that are Dutch and Scottish and Swedish over there smacking up the Black Africans in South Africa. And rather than worried about that, how the vestiges of apartheid never left, they're over here worried about foundational Black Americans. And this is rather pathetic. Many people do this in parts of Latin America. We got a foundational, or not even a foundational, we got an irrational tether. I can't call this person foundational because this person fled Nigeria. We got a Nigerian tether in the chat that didn't build anything in Nigeria. And rather than talk about how Nigeria has rolling blackouts, did you know that the age of consent in Nigeria is 13? You can be 50 years old and get with a 13-year-old in Nigeria. Rather than focus on this disgusting behavior and cultural practices, they're worried about foundational Americans, what they're doing in their own homeland, right? I mean, don't take my word for it. Look it up. There's a huge class disparity in Nigeria. So they have some of the, upper class, upper echelon of Nigerians come over, and then they'll, a highly selected and curated percentage of people, and they'll try to compare the top of the top, the creme de la creme, to the average Black person. But no, if you compare the top Black person to the top Nigerian person, it's not even a contest. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that we should be in the business of doing that, but that's what these people come over to do. Y'all got baby mama culture. Y'all got this and this and that. It's like, bro, you fled your homeland when you impregnated 3 women, but since no one knows what you did back in your homeland, you talking about baby mama culture, right? You weren't married when you did that. Look at many of the paternity frauds. A lot of them are happening in the Caribbean and parts of Africa. And I'm not saying this to disparage people as a whole. You know what I mean? But salute to the troll. I was talking about pan pasty. This is the type of topic, but salute to the Puerto Rican pan pizza. You feel me? The pan troll, but salute to pan mulatto. But let's get back into it though.
This is about not staying in your lane. This is colorism at its finest. This is blackfishing. This is you defending biracial people for taking up Black roles in media. This is you defending that you are Black.
And like I said, even though she has espoused some anti-Black views, I do think that she does make a legitimate argument, because sometimes there will be a role that was a historically dark-skinned Black woman. Let's just say Harriet Tubman. I'm gonna just use her as an example. Not saying that this happened, but they have took lighter and brighter people and said, hey, you would be great for this role. It's like that person was a dark-skinned Black woman, but they feel that the racially ambiguous lighter person would be more palatable and more profitable to the eyes, because, oh, well, these people don't want to see it. And then they try to project the colorist ideology onto others so much that people are engineered and indoctrinated to believe it and say, yeah, it's true. Same thing when they did Nina Simone, which was disgusting. And I lost a lot of respect from that chick. I can't remember what her name is, but she was supposed to play Nina Simone, and it's some Latina chick, right? She identifies as Latina, but then they try to call her Afro-Latina, not African, because Afro comes here. Nah, if she wants to be Afro, then say it with your full chest. Say that she's an African Latina, but they don't want to do that. No, she's Afro. No, she's African, right? Isn't the Afro referring to African? So They want us to call ourselves African, but they don't go around calling themselves African Haitian, African Jamaican, all this other type of stuff, because it's supposed to be already understood. Well, if it's already understood that foundational Black Americans have African ancestry, what's with the fixation and the obsession on us calling ourselves African? So they had this Latina tether who played Nina Simone, and she had to get a prosthetic nose because she just didn't have the phenotypes of a Negrita, right? Or at least not a foundational, right? She had Negroid features, but she wasn't a foundational. They could have got a foundational Black American that fit the that fit the phenotypical description. But instead, no, we have to get a person of color, right? And like try to give her a fake nose. And even, I believe they even darkened her skin. They essentially put a quote unquote Black Latina in blackface because she wasn't dark enough, when they could have just got a dark woman to begin with. So I will have to concur with, like I said, with this biracial chick, mixed chick. Some would call her Black, but she doesn't want to be called Black. She wants to be called mixed. So let's just call her mixed. The thing is about the mixed people, they'll say we're a mixed race, right? And they'll pretend as if mixed race is a race. They'll pretend as if biracial is a race. And I'll say, fine, since you believe that it is a race, are we saying that a Black and white person who's a mixed race person and an Asian and a white person who's a mixed race person, are we saying that they're the same race, right? They're both mixed race. Oh, no, that's different. How's it different? There's no specificity. It's just what I'll call a buzzword and a bumper sticker. They're biracial. They're saying that biracials are their own race. Okay, fine. So are we saying that a Japanese and a Black person is the same as a white person and a Native American? Both of them would be considered mixed race, right? So are they of the same race? So a lot of these people, they go back and forth saying, well, race is a social construct and it's not real. But then they'll say, I'm biracial, but you said race wasn't real. So now you're saying you're a mixture of two things that isn't real? Make it make sense.
This is you bullying mixed race people in the comments. She is a coon. She didn't transform. She's been that way. Stuck in the bottom of the mayo packet. Because she came for me, and I'm not about.
And I haven't seen Tampon Timmy in a minute. So salute to Tampon Timmy. You said, good Lord, only goofy New Yorkers say Latino is not a real thing. And Tampon Timmy is, another Latino tether, you know what I mean? Or a Latino lunatic. But salute to Timmy. But yeah, I would have to concur. Like I said, I mean, even a dead clock is right twice a day. You feel me? So it's not a real thing, right? Even though you're trying to when you say Afro-Latino, like you're trying to delineate, you're trying to say, yeah, I'm not Black, but I have proximity to Blackness. I really identify as a Latino. So that's just drop the Afro and just say that you're Latino. The thing is, many quote unquote Latinos don't honor your Latino heritage because they see you as just another N-word. But again, your identity shouldn't be based on what others project onto you.
Of checking a bitch who is dead ass incorrect. This is you admitting that TikTok blocked you from posting because you're racist. Your whole page is full of hate. All of the comments are hateful. And then you like those comments and perpetuate the hate because you're a bully. Right here, you said, I'm not proud to be mixed race. That's weird to me, but I agree with everything else you're saying. You said there's no such thing as the mixed race. Then you said that you're biracial. Then you say that you're Black.
Wow, I can't believe, again, 2 for 2. Afro-Latino was used in the 50s to help Latinos enter the U.S. market. It's literally a music genre in Latin America. I would have to concur. And on top of that, it helped them tether on to Blackness to say, we all Black. I got an abuela. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what Fat Joe does, right? Fat Joe is a white dude, right? He's ethnically Latino. He's racially white. You can try to pretend as if he's something else. No. Fat Joe is Puerto Rican. There's no race called Puerto Rican. He's Latino. There's no race called Latino, right? It's an ethnic identifier, right? So ethnically, Fat Joe is Latino, and racially, he's white. But he tried to say, I grew up in the Bronx. He said, I didn't even know I was white because he grew up around so many black people. Because, yeah, we accepted and adopted you. But to pretend like he didn't look in the mirror and know who and what he was, then who really does have the identity crisis, right? So these are his excuses for trying to like pop it the way he pops it, that, you know, to carry it, and for him using the N word. And it's always like, since I grew up around y'all, I want to use the N word. They never say, hey, I grew up around y'all, so I want to build the businesses with you. You know, it's just, since I grew up around you, I want to say the N word, but then I also want to have my ethnic specificity and ethnic isolation as well. You know what I mean? Because he wants his own cultural achievements for Latino culture, but he wants to be revered and held in high regard in the FBA culture. Won't be like, bruh, like if you think of top 20, like does anyone have Fat Joe in their top 20 of rappers? Top 50? Like if you of all the rappers of all time, and I'm not just talking about mainstream rappers, Fat Joe is not a top 50 rapper. But if they want to really do some affirmative action in DEI, they'll try to convince you that Fat Joe is a top 50 rapper. And Big Pun is way greater than Fat Joe ever is and ever could be. But we're supposed to pretend that Fat Joe is good because he has proximity to some black people. Hence the term Afro Latino. The Afro is a tether term. Hey, I'm just like you. That's why it says Afro. And then they're really a Latino masquerading as a black person. They wear blackness like a costume. And then, you know, they shed it, you know, on Cinco de Mayo, they're just Latino, right? But then if they're at the cookout, yeah, I'm like y'all. And that's why I'm saying nigga, but I'm Afro Latino. So I'm not really like you. Saying you're Afro Latino is delineating. And there's nothing wrong with it because I support delineation, but we just have to call it what it is. You're saying you're something other than me. I'm a foundational black American. Once you say you're Afro Latino, you're saying that you're not that. Doesn't mean that we can't build with each other, that we can't grow, but we're not the same. You're telling me that we're not the same, and I'm acknowledging that we're not. And this, see, I knew it. We were 2 for 2, and then here comes the tampon Timmy. You said FBA are massive colorists. They call a blue-eyed, blonde-hair Latina Afro Latina. No, actually, we don't. So ultimately, like I said, it's about how people ethnically and culturally identify. And since we live in a free nation, people could scrutinize how you identify. And we've been joined by Frank Nitty, Mr. Gritty, putting on for the biddy. And we got Stream Sniper shooting from the chat. Salute to the bro. I don't know what you was responding to, but you said there's tons of colorism in the Latino community. Correct. They have terms like this: mejoró la raza, blancamiento. Don't look. These aren't my terms. And whether they use those terms specifically, the sentiment holds. Mejoró la raza means lighten, brighten, specifically whiten the race. Look at Telemundo, Univision, right? Look at the people they have on there. They barely have any quote unquote Afro Mexicans on there. They got a lot of Lily Dubs on there. Many of the people that look like Cameron Diaz. Is Cameron Diaz white or is she a Latina? Well, technically she's both because there's no race called Latina. But when you see Cameron Diaz, who is Latina, what do you see? A white woman? And that's what they want. The racial ambiguity, right? But then if you see a dark Celia Cruz, no, she's Negrita. No, she's not. She's Latina, right? Like, is she not? Y'all New Yorkers get mad when Dominicans say, I know black. So y'all mad? Nah, I don't get mad. I literally don't. And you got to stop saying y'all because, like I said, I know, like, you know, your menstrual is starting to flow. So tampon Timmy, you got to chill with the y'all talk. Remember, you're a faceless lunatic troll, bro. So like, don't forget who and what you are, bro. So just chill. And salute to Richard Smith. Richard Smith, I'm gonna assume you a brother with a name like that. Salute to Richie. Y'all claim Mariah as black. Again, who is y'all? Does Mariah Carey say that she's black? Because I don't hear a lot of black people saying that she's black, but some people will say that she's black. But does she say she's black? And this is what I'm trying to specify. You're over here talking about y'all, and you're not even reading the title. My title says psychologically projecting blackness onto others. So I don't believe that you should see that if someone has one drippity drop of Negroid or African ancestry and you call them black. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe in that. However, some people will identify as that, and some people will push back. You know, ultimately it's up to how people identify, and then after that, how society views you. Now, your self-identity shouldn't be based on what someone is going to call you and if the cops pull you over. However, since all of these things, race, ethnicity, they're all social constructs. So it does require some level of social adherence to make it law, to make it affirmative, to make it concrete. So I already know you're here to troll Tampon Timmy, but this is why you, like I said, this dude Tampon Timmy is a lunatic Latino who's afraid to even show his face and afraid to hit the link. So I'm being respectful because, you know, I'm not a man of censorship. I had a Nigerian tether in here earlier who wanted to troll, timed him out, and then he bounced. So Tampon Timmy, don't get timed out. You know what I mean? Don't get timed out, bruh. You said y'all using this 10-year term tether suggests how we could counter that. Tether is so old, so ancient, tether this, tether that. It is such an embarrassment to melanated communities in general. Again, bruh, I gotta hit you.
And I quote, you know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Bruh, stop whining. Let's get back into the video. Hey, again, like I said, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Listen to what Tampon Timmy said. Hit the like. And matter of fact, since y'all here, it won't cost you a fee. The likes are free. And salute to Progress. Yes, these tethers are so annoying. And this is why I like Progress, because this is a proud mixed American standing on his lineage for both. He's not discounting one. He's not saying that his white side is better. He's not saying his black side is better. He's saying that both is beautiful, and I can respect that, right? I don't need to call him black. I don't need to call him white because he is a mixed race person. So I can honor and respect that. You know what I mean? As a black passing biracial, talking about tethers will never go away. No, I'm never going to stop talking about tethers. All a tether is a Sambo and a raccoon of another lineage. Now, some do have FBA lineage too, but they still could be a tether based on how they identify. And here's here's a and salute to yes, tethers are insufferable. And look, just because you're an immigrant or have a different lineage doesn't make you a tether. Harry Belafonte wouldn't be considered a tether. Louis Farrakhan, who has Caribbean lineage, wouldn't be considered a tether. Sidney Poitier wouldn't be considered a tether. You know what I mean? What was the beautiful sister in the Good Times, right? She was like Bohemian or something like that, I believe, right? She wasn't considered a tether. It's someone of a background that's not foundational, that tries to tether on, cosplay, and work to undermine that same group. That's who it is, right? So you notice that nobody is not saying don't call people raccoons, don't call people Sambos, and people still use the outdated and inaccurate term of Uncle Tom, but nobody says don't call people that. And Uncle Tom is the wrong term. The correct term is Sambo. So if I'm going to be calling my homegrown people of my lineage that sell out, if I'm gonna call them raccoons and sambos, then no, I'm not gonna have any sympathy calling these people tethers. All of these other groups, they have pejorative terms. You know, they got Mexicans calling us pinche mayates and changos, right? Did you know even some Samoans, it's like, and we love Samoans, we didn't do nothing to Samoans. They calling us mayulis. They got a Filipino, they got a terms calling us niggas and stuff like that, right? In their own language, right? They calling us akatas, abis, jareers, even saying yank in a pejorative term. And meanwhile, we was calling all of these people our brothers and sisters, right? From the motherland that we've never been to. Meanwhile, we're overlooking our motherland here for some pie in the sky Wakanda that doesn't exist. Notice how Pan-Africans are always talking to you about Africa from the comfort of America. They're never in Africa. They go to Africa to visit and then come over here and preach to you, Africa, Africa, Africa. Go over there and build in Africa. No, you visited Africa. Fine, I'll visit there and go on a safari, and then I'll come right back home to my motherland in America. But they've convinced you, no, you have to look to Mama Africa. How was it Mama Africa? Let's just say it was my Mama Africa, but nobody came and get me. Where was my brothers and sisters and cousins that came and got me, right? Where was that? When these quote unquote Africans come over here, they don't say brother, sisters, or long lost cousins. How many family members do you know in the quote unquote motherland? You know your family member in Baltimore. You know your family members in Louisiana, in Texas. Even if you got family in Utah, even if you got family in Idaho or some obscure place, you don't know nobody in any African village. You don't know anyone in Burkina Faso, anyone in Mali, anyone in Sudan. But you're from there. No, your family is from there. You just have no ties. Yeah, you were from there thousands of years ago. So I'm not from there. People already know in your local city, if you're from Brooklyn and you move to Piscataway, New Jersey, and you live there 20 years, people gonna be like, bruh, you ain't from Brooklyn no more. You're from New Jersey, bruh. If you're from Houston, Texas, and you move to Boise, Idaho for 40 years, they're gonna be like, yeah, you were born in Texas, but now you're from Idaho. You lived there for 50 years. So now, at the very least, the bare minimum, we've been on this land 500 years now. We've been here much longer, but I'm just saying the bare minimum, right? And they're still saying, nah, you ain't from here. How many years will it take for you to be from here? You have to wait until 5,000 years and then officially what you'll be from here? 5,000 year pass. You from Africa. 20,000 years pass. You still from Africa. 40,000 years pass. You from Africa. Fine. Aren't these so-called natives from Asia? No, they're not from Asia because they became a different people on a different land. They had an ethnogenesis. Isn't that what happened to foundational Black Americans? We were a mixture of freedmen. We were a mixture of formerly enslaved people, indigenous people, European people. That was an admixture that you can't recreate on anywhere in the continent right now. We're an entirely different ethnic and racial group, but we just stick to ethnic group, right? Because our racial admixture is so unique and diverse that it can't be replicated on the continent. But we're not even taking the racial route, which is a construct, right? But so is ethnicity and so is tribes. Okay. So yes, we became a completely different group, and people don't want to honor or respect that, but then they want you to respect their tribe and respect their religion. There's no race called Muslim. There's no race called Jewish. There's no race called Hindu or Buddhism. And even with mixed race, respect that I'm a mixed race person. Okay, I do. But mixed race, how? Are you Black and white and mixed? Are we saying that a Black and white person and a Black and Asian person, since they're both mixed, they're the same race just based on that mixture? Or is a Black and Asian person mixed with a white and Asian person the same race because they're both biracial? Okay. And salute to the high voodoo priestess coming in heavy. They say money talks, and I do sincerely appreciate that. So the lovely high voodoo priestess, I gotta hit you.
I just wanted to say Thanks.
I sincerely appreciate that. And if you're unable or unwilling to contribute financially, it won't cost you a fee. The likes are free. But here's a friendly reminder.
B-Eazy Dat Dude, he be bringing the vibe. In your leisure, come laugh and show some love every time he goes live. If you're feeling the flow, wanna help him shine, you can drop a little something something. It's support time. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo too. Super chat, super sticker, whatever is convenient for you. Every bit counts, let's keep the good times rolling. B-Eazy's on fire and the crowd's still growing.
Woo, B-Eazy, he is that dude.
So again, salute to the high voodoo priestess Amore. And I don't know. I have to check out your channel, the High Voodoo Priestess. I don't know if your content is just about voodoo stuff, but I would love to converse about that, because there's a lot of misconceptions about the practices of voodoo. And salute to the foundational freedman. I ain't gonna call you an African American, Alexander Bryan, because you in the heart of FBA land. However, I will respect the foundational freedman that stepped off up in the building. Salute to the Carolina fam. Stream says in Africa, they call American blacks foreigners. They don't consider us to be one of them. And this is why I say this is so goofy. You're supposed to, while you're in America, which is your homeland and your motherland, you're not supposed to identify with your homeland. You're supposed to call yourself African from a distant land that you've never been to. And then when you go to Africa, they don't say that, hey, you're the same as us. They say that you're American. In Africa, they call me American, but as an American, I'm supposed to call myself African. It doesn't make sense. Yes, this is true, right? When you go over there, yes, they'll accept your money. Yes, they'll smile in your face, but there is a tax. You will pay a higher rate. Look at Meek Mill. Meek Mill went to some, let's just say, an anonymous African country. They stole his phone. He had to say, hey, bro, could I get my phone back and all this stuff? So there's people that look exactly like them that they don't consider their brothers and sisters. So you think that you're just going to fly over there and then suddenly they're going to embrace you just based on skin pigment? You got a big nose. They got a big nose. Y'all brothers. No, we're not. You said, yes, I am Puerto Rican and Black American. I speak Spanish fluently, and I've always been torn between two types of hatred from both communities. Africans can't play with me. I will never go to Africa again. Well, I respect how you identify. You know what I mean? If you identify as a Black person, you know what I mean? A Latino person, we respect it. I think it needs to just be a place of listening so we can understand. And when you listen without judgment, and then don't try to pass judgment and don't try to project. There are some Puerto Rican people who say, yes, I have Black or African ancestry, but I've been raised as a ethnic Latino. So I identify more with being a Latino. Don't try to project and say when the cops pull you over, they gonna see a nigga. It's like, man, that's not what they see when they look in the mirror. Doesn't mean that you need to tear them down. Doesn't mean that they're better than you or you're better than them. It means that they're different and they want to be recognized as a distinct individual. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually very beautiful. And in order for us to appreciate the beauty of this ethnic distinction, we need to let people identify who they are without judgment and say it with their full chest. Don't try to say, I see you as Black, so therefore you're Black. The way I see it, their tribes conquered ours and sent us here, so they see us as the defeated who look down on them, in my opinion. Well, it's a valid opinion to make based on your observation. By the way, voodoo is a foreign practice. Also, it means spiritual Adam. Learned that from the late Dick Gregory, and hoodoo is an FBA practice. Yes, there is a distinction between hoodoo and voodoo. So thank you for saying that, because when they talk about New Orleans, they talk a lot about voodoo, and then they give New Orleans credit specifically to Haitians. While there were some Haitian contributions, the root in the culture of Louisiana is all foundational Black. But let's get back into it. We're talking about biracials. Are they really Black? Let's commence. I'm going to rewind it back a little bit.
Blocked you from posting because you're racist. Your whole page is full of hate. All of the comments are hateful, and then you like those comments and perpetuate the hate because you're a bully. Right here, you said, I'm not proud to be mixed race. That's weird to me, but I agree with everything else you're saying. You said there's no such thing as the mixed race. Then you said that you're biracial. Then you say that you're Black. Then you say you're not proud to be mixed race, but that you agree mixed race people should have their own racial classification. You're fucking contradicting yourself. Whatever your race is, whatever you racially identify as, does not justify your character. Bullying people, starting drama, and being negative is not something a racial identity can cover up. And I was in a relationship with a white guy for 3 or 4 years. This was in Georgia before I moved to New York City. He would get angry at me for not wearing my natural hair. I never straightened it. It's just he always wanted me to wear it just like this. I couldn't do buns, braids, or even a barrette without him throwing a temper tantrum. Our Black friends always wore different hairstyles, and he was always so supportive, like, that's so cool. But anytime I would want to do it, he would be unsupportive, and he would say, don't even try it. Now, I don't want any feedback. I don't care to know what you think about my hair. I use a texturizer. To me, he felt very ownershipy. Our first Christmas, he got me an engagement ring, and he was very abusive when I would take it off. He overcompensated for me to identify with Blackness. But I don't trust anyone who tells a mixed race person to identify as something other than their racial mixture.
I'm mixed. With what? You're mixed. With what? You're of color though, because we're the same skin color. So you're Black.
She is so jealous, and you're not going to understand this unless you're mixed race. And it doesn't have to be my racial mixture. It could be Naomi Campbell, who is Chinese and Black. Somebody left a comment saying Black people love to say that Black comes in all different shades, but really they just have European in their blood and they're ashamed of it. Now, I'm not here to challenge that. It's just, if you see somebody who looks like you and they say that they're mixed race, leave them alone. You are probably not being honest with yourself, and now you are projecting onto them. The other thing she brought up is skin color. I'm sorry. It's just monoracial races are based off phenotypes. The mixed race is not. It's like that because mixed race people can have the same racial mixture and look completely different. Somebody is just not being honest with themselves, and it's not the mixed race.
I want to talk about this comment that I saw from a white woman. It was on a video that was very anti-mixed race, and the creator was African American. This white woman said that if you're mixed race and you say that you're mixed race instead of Black, then I don't think very highly of you. Black is beautiful, and you're trying to change what Blackness is. It makes it seem like you're doing it for white approval. Somebody stepped in and told her that mixed race is beautiful too. I don't understand why you're upholding the one drop rule, and we don't need white approval to be mixed race. And then
So again, they're trying to say that, hey, them being mixed race is like they're not Black. But what did they always accuse Black people of? Being colorist. Show me the videos of a bunch of mixed race people showing vitriol at white people for being quote unquote colorist. So they try to frame it. No, the Blacks are being colorist towards me. So you mean that the white people are accepting you with open arms? Again, they just throw out a buzzword. I'm mixed race. Okay. A Japanese person and a white person are mixed race. Are they the same? And then she's talking about even if we have the same mixture. I mean, does any of us have the same mixture? If I say that I'm 40%, I have 40% Negroid, another 40% indigenous, right? Another 20%, right? Like, what are we really saying here? That someone else has that same mixture because they have a big nose? Some people may have, 2% indigenous. Some people may have 20%. But because they both have a big nose, then it's the same mixture. This is the illogical fallacies with many of these mixed race, it's really a lot of biracial babble and prattle. because it's so desperate to carve out and create their own identity, but they're still tethered to one or the other. Because as much as people want to try to make this country, it's not about black and white. Well, that's what this country was founded on. And then they say, yeah, but what about the natives? But you already said that they were slaughtered and genocided. So it wasn't about them, which is why they had to fight way later to be recognized as citizens, because their quote unquote land and reservations was considered separate and sovereign nations. It wasn't considered America. It was considered separate and apart from America. So America, the foundation was about black and white, and people want to try to fight. No, it's about us. It's about people of color. It's about mixed race people, right? And they want you to honor their mixed race identity. But who the heck are you talking about? Again, this chick right here, she talked about Naomi Campbell, who was quote unquote black and Chinese. She has African ancestry and Chinese. Is she the same race as her? According to her, they are, right? Because they're mixed race. But Naomi Campbell is also identified as black, but then she's also mixed race. You see how confusing it gets, because these people haven't carved out a lane for themselves. When they're checking the census, many mixed people, as much as they want to have this mixed utopia, they don't check the mixed box. There's a box that says 2 or more races. Many people, they say they don't want to be put in a box or be viewed as in a binary way, but then they check the box. They check either white or black. There's another box that says other. Why won't they check other and write mulatto or whatever term they feel comfortable identifying as? I know plenty of biracial people, but biracial isn't the box that they check. So again, like, there's a lot of logical inconsistencies about what their ideology is saying.
She deleted her comment. Now, my issue with her mentality is in the simple fact that if you are white and you have a child with somebody who is black, your child is mixed race. If you're white and you have a child with somebody who is Asian, your child is mixed race. This generalization and identifying the mixed race with blackness makes it seem like the mixed race is about being black. Being mixed race is having a racial mixture, whatever that racial mixture is. The other issue is that she's implying that black people come from black and white parents. No. Black people come from black parents. Mixed race people come from black and white parents.
Are you an RN exhausted?
Okay, so there you have it. So I'm going to get into another video, but I do appreciate y'all rocking out. And we've been joined by Shame and Scandal. Hold on, Shame and Scandal. I gotta hit you.
Oh, damn. Dr. Fresh. Wait a minute. I know you. Wait a minute.
Salute to Shame and Scandal. And Progress says, I don't look at myself as monoracial. My culture is a combination of foundational Black American descendant of slaves and Mayflower white American, i.e. or AKA Heritage American. Like I said, I can respect that. I ain't gonna be saying, no, you white man, you's a white boy. You know what I mean? Or no, when the cops pull you over, they ain't gonna care, right? That's not what your identity is based upon. There's something called intellectual sovereignty. And that means that people do have a right to identify how they want to identify. And I'm talking about based on their lineage, their heritage, and their genetics and ancestry. I'm not talking about the people who say that they want to be transracial, right? You were born white, you live your life as Brad, and now you want to say that my name is Jamal now, right? I'm not talking about that. But I'm going to play another visual and we will get into it. This will be a breakdown from another creator. He will be interviewing a gentleman who some would view as Black, but he's saying, nah, I know Black. You feel me? So I'm going to play a quick visual just so I can get ready to pull that video up. And if you haven't liked the video, look, it won't cost you a fee. Like, share, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend. Is all free. However, if you do want to make a financial contribution, I do support that as well. You know what I mean? So you can hit the super chat, super sticker, or at the bottom, my Cash App. So let me play this quick visual so that I can pull up this video. So I will be back in uno momento.
That was nasty, bro, like a nasty. Oh, I got a nasty flow. My baddie, though, is a classy bro. I manage her and she escort. International exports. I got hardware, my tech support. Really about that business, cause I'm that dude, but you just a dork. Used to be on that block, equipped with a Glock. I sold all kind of dope. 10 toes down on the pavement. I send that bitch like an envelope. Close with a love letter. I love cheddar, so I grind hard. I be putting that work in, but I ain't punching no time card. When it comes to being a boss, nigga, I am the epitome. You keep hating, belly aching, but it takes more to get rid of me. I am full of energy, but I ain't feeling jittery. I'm just grinding, shining like a diamond, looking glittery. Literally, I just left the bank to deposit racks. Holla back, don't want no shoes and clothes because my closet's packed. I got hella different kicks just like Lionel Messi. Still be rocking Jordans, but I prefer Giuseppe. Peace.
Okay, so we're back at it. Thank you for your patience. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world. Y'all chose to be here with me, at least momentarily. And for that, I thank you. So I'm going to be reacting to Ricardo Ignacio. You can watch the video uninterrupted on his page. It's titled, I Only Look Black, But I'm Not Black. So at the top, this is the gentleman, Ricardo Ignacio. And then they have this biracial bozo at the bottom. Now, Ricardo is telling him, hey, look, bro, when I see you, I just see a black dude. And he's saying, yeah, bruh. Just because you see that, I know black. So we gonna get into this and break this thing down. And remember, I told you, your identity shouldn't be based on how others view you. Now, since it is a social construct, much of the construct is about how you phenotypically present, and that is going to shape the reality of how you're treated in society. You know what I mean? And we'll get further into that, but let's get into the video to start.
What does that mean?
No, I get that. That might be a conspicuous statement. And I can show you images of myself from the winter time when I look totally different haircut, and I would look a little bit more ambiguous. So, you know, it varies by the season, but yeah. But you identified me as black when I came up, so let's be
racially
right.
That is what race is. See, in order for me to agree with you, I have to correct you on only one thing: your ethnic background, your ethnicities,
right?
Your DNA. I agree with you that all of us are made up of different ethnicities. That's a fact.
Correct.
But the concept of race is what somebody is presenting, phenotypically presenting. In your case, I know nothing about I don't know who your mother is. I don't know who your father is. I don't know who your ancestry is, what your ancestry is. If I see you just randomly, sir, I see a black man. Where is the wrong in that? If racially, that's what I identified as. That's why I identified.
Well, no, because the reason I would dispute that is because there's been right now I do. There's been plenty of times throughout my life when I've been identified differently. I haven't looked this way throughout my whole life. And also I'm under the shade right now. But I would say that there's been plenty of times when people have been like, oh, you know, which one of your parents is white? Or, you know, what do you mix with? You know.
Come on, bro. So again, he's saying, oh, look, I'm under the shade right now. So that's why I look as dark as I look. So he's trying to distance himself from any level of blackness. I know black. No, I'm really lighter. I'm not this dark. I'm light. And sometimes when people see me, they say, which one of your parents is white? Yeah, they say which one of your parents is white. They never say that you are white. People have said that he's black, though. And I don't think people should project that. You need to ask a clear, incoherent question. How do you identify ethnically? And then after that, you can do a follow-up question. How do you identify racially? And then they can give you an answer and say whether it's a construct and all this other stuff. But I always debunk the social construct, because while I will concede of race being a social construct, everything else that's attached under in proximity to race automatically by default becomes a social construct. You can't tell me that race is a social construct, but however, a tribe is biological reality. So race is a social construct, but so is being a Cherokee, so is being a Choctaw, so is being a Seminole. Being a Viking is a social construct. There's no race called Viking, right? All of these things are socially constructed and sometimes fabricated, right? Religion is a social construct. They want to make it seem like the biblical practices and teachings and preachings are biological, but no, it's not. You've only been convinced that way so you can accept, that, hey, this group of people are the chosen and preordained, so you got to do whatever, they say, because hey, it's in the good book. You feel me? But whose good book was that? Mulatto activist father is from El Salvador. Who are you talking about? Progress.
I look a little bit different at different times of the year. I know it's might come as hard to believe to you, but no, that's the truth. That's based on my actual lived experience. And I'm not just saying that because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be black. No, but I just want to be what I am.
You know what's interesting about this? Because you're determined to convince people that a mixed person like yourself, it's his own identity. You have a point to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to colorism.
Attention retirees, if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m.
Because a black man that is darker will be treated differently by society than you.
Yeah.
This is a fact. However, you're still identified as a black man, lighter complected. And here's the thing that I find interesting. See,
not always, but yeah.
Not always what?
You see, the thing is, the issue is you try to tell other people their experience, right? And I'm not saying that you don't have reasons for doing that, but I think that you have to understand not everybody's experience is going to be what you assume it's going to be. Like I said, there's been plenty of times throughout my life. I can show you images when I look way different. When people have asked me, what do you mix with? What's your background? So yeah, right now it's maybe not as ambiguous, but I think that you have to understand the nuances to it. Race is not and phenotype is not as straightforward as you think it is. There's a lot more nuance to it that I think you're leaving out. So that would be my response. It's not
that, like I said, is a legitimate argument, right? There is a lot more nuance in the phenotype that he's talking about. However, if you see this dude on the screen, bro is like, I know black. Okay, fine. You're not black. Stop trying to project the blackness onto him. Stop looking and saying that, hey, he may have some negroid or quote unquote black features, right? But having a particular feature doesn't make you something, right? I've seen some black people with a little, skinny, thin nose. Does that feature that would be associated with Eurocentrism, would that make them white? No, it wouldn't. But we're trying to, not me specifically, but some will project and say, hey, when the cops pull this dude over, they'll see a black man. But when he looks in the mirror, he doesn't see a black man. So ultimately, it's about how he identifies, not what the cop thinks when he gets pulled over. Now, reality will set in, like, hopefully he doesn't do any time, right? But if he gets locked up, the dubs, the whites gonna be like, bruh, can't sit here. You feel me? The Latinos gonna be like, can't sit here. You feel me? Guess who's gonna adopt him? He's gonna be with the blacks, whether he likes it or not, right? And his issue is he doesn't want to be in a box of being black, but he's not creating his lane many of these mixed race people are pretending to create a lane for biracial people, but it ends up them being in this kind of racial ethnic purgatory because it starts a whiny process of, well, the blacks don't accept me. It's like, but you don't see yourself as black, so why should blacks accept you as black? Well, the whites don't accept me. It's like you really want to get accepted by the whites, but they're saying you're not like us. They say cue to Kendrick Lamar, you're not like us. But black people will look at this dude, even with his light complexion, and say, come on down, bucko, you're one of us. And he'll get close enough to us. He'll get close enough to black people to say, look, I have close proximity, so now I can say the N-word, but I'm not one of y'all. I know black. It's like, okay, bruh, you're a tether.
As straightforward as you think it is.
I don't think you understood what I just explained. I acknowledge that because you are lighter complected than somebody who's darker, I acknowledge that you will be favored, if you will, be favored by majority of society, because majority of society is conditioned to be very colorist, anti-black to be specific, right? I acknowledge that you will be treated differently because of your complexion. However, you will still be identified as a black person. Now, let me finish.
Yeah. And also, I think identity is an assertion. It's not a debate. Like, you don't really debate your identity. You just assert it. And you say, well, this is what I am based on my actual background. And so you can't just go based off of what other people tell you, because then you'll never have your own destiny. You'll never actually be firm in who you are on a deeper level.
And I concur with that, right? Like, and this is why you got to stop debating people. When someone says, I know black, then you got it. All right, cool. You're not black. But then I also don't want to hear them, using the N-word. I don't want to hear them talking about, well, black people, this is like, you're not black, bro. Go talk about what Latinos need to do. You're mixed race, right? Go talk about what mixed race people need to do. But unfortunately, what people do is, I'm mixed, I'm separate and apart, but black people this, and what about black on black crime and black fatherless homes? You're mixed, right? So what is the fatherless home rate in mixed race communities, right? Does anyone talking about mixed race on mixed race crime? Right? You're not black anymore. So why are you still whining about black people? And that's the game that many of these people play, unfortunately. And shout out Roger Meadows, bro. Where you been, bro? You're a little bit late, but I know that you got some other engagements. So I appreciate you sliding through. The East Coast finest, Mr. Nassau County. But hey, Roger, where Brooklyn at? And we got I Am Jolly Green says, then how come dark-skinned blacks come straight off the boat, get high-end jobs immediately without credentials? I don't know who and what you're talking about, I Am Jolly Green, because when you say someone get high-end jobs immediately without credentials, it's like, I could revisit that. Let me see. Hold on. Should I bring it up? Hold on. Let me see. Give me 1 second, y'all, because I might have to debunk this person in real time. So actually give me like 30 seconds. I'm gonna see if it's worth pulling it up. Okay, you said they get away with lying. Who is the they you're referring to? Like, be more specific. I Am Jolly Green. This is a space where we're about specificity. So we don't try to do the vague babble. When you say dark-skinned blacks, don't just call them blacks. And then if you are going to say blacks, put some respect on blackness, and you put an uppercase B. And are you even black? Because if you are, you would already know this. So put an uppercase B when you're speaking about black people. And not only that, call them what they are. If they're dark-skinned Nigerians, don't call them black. Call them what they are. Are they Nigerians? Are they Haitians? Are they Jamaican? Who are you talking about? Because there's a bunch of dark-skinned people that are considered black. Hence the term, I know black, to let you know that, yeah, I got dark skin, but I'm not black. So again, who are you talking about? You say you can't debunk shit because you don't work or see anything because you just sit online. So again, like, so now this person is getting hostile. You know what I mean? And it's funny. Think about how stupid this is. All you do is just sit online while you're sitting online. It's just like I said earlier. All y'all do is complain, and then you complain about someone complaining. So it's all good, bro. Like, I mean, we probably possibly, agreed with each other, but you came in like a whiny, moist, emotional maniac. So I am Jolly Green. I am Jolly, which, that's a very moist, sassy, effeminate name. So I hope that you are a woman. If you're a woman, it makes sense. If you're a woman, it makes sense. But hey, Jolly.
You know what, nigga? You acting like a little bitch right now. You acting like a little bitch right now, nigga. Man, fuck that. I ain't letting that shit ride.
Bitch, are you high? Are you high?
Put the pipe down. Let's get back into it.
Like when you try to pressure these Dominicans to say, you're just black, the reason they get so defensive about it is because on a deeper level, their identity is rooted in something different. And identity is how you locate yourself in the world. And so when you tell somebody they're just black, you're basically commandeering their identity away from who they actually are and moving it in a different direction, which is.
I concur, which is why you have to ask people, how do they racially identify? And then ethnicity is apart from your racial classification, right? So we're not doing this flat blackness. We are all black. It's like, even if you are racially black, you're not a foundational black American freedman. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that there's ethnic distinctions. I want to be able to appreciate your culture rather than pretend as if it's a gumbo pot of culture and you just throw it all in and we're all the same. No, we're not. And shout out to Last Call, Mr. Midnight Soul, modding from an undisclosed location in Northern America. Now, I'm good for right now because, like I said, I don't mind the trolls or the contrarian views. Once it gets too disrespectful, then I will have to time them out. And then if it gets too disrespectful, then I will have to boot them. Not only that, many of these people are not intellectually formidable enough to challenge me, not just because I'm the smartest dude ever. It's just I've seen the pathetic comments that have come in, and many of them have just been incoherent babble and prattle. So let's get back into it.
Why people kind of get sticky about that stuff.
Collectively, the real reason why Dominicans say me no black is because they're very anti-black. They have a very negative, collectively, they have a very negative opinion about Black Americans. We know this. I've had plenty of Dominicans that have come up here and expressed their views regarding Black Americans. Very negative opinion when it comes to Black Americans, and of course Haitians, but that's already a fact.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's neither here nor there. So.
And this is why I want to say, this is why we're not doing the flat blackness and we all the same. It's like, no, actually we're not, you know what I mean? And similarities doesn't equate sameness. Similarities doesn't mean identical. Identical means the same. And how many times do I have to say an alligator and a crocodile are similar, but they're not the same. An orange and a grapefruit look similar, but they're not the same. A jaguar and a leopard look similar, but they are not the same. And it's okay. I'm not saying one or the other is better. I'm just saying that there are distinctions. So we have to stop pretending as if we don't know or we don't recognize these things. Imagine that Mexican talking about Dominicans' racist views. So, I mean, are they not, though? Not to say that, I mean, he does talk about the anti-blackness in Latin America. So if Mexico was part of Latin America, he's calling out all of Latin America, not just Dominicans. And rather than be defensive, I mean, is there any lie? Was there a lie that was told? If it was, tell me where's the lie. I mean, are you Dominicano? Do you consider yourself as black? Don't act like you never heard the I know black. You said Hispanics can't be racist in America if blacks can't. We have the same power dynamics in America. No, this is not quite true, right? They had Jim Crow, not this fake Juan Crow that they want to try to pretend. And then when you talk about Hispanics, who are you talking about? There's no race called Hispanic. There's no race called Latino. Many Hispanics are white, i.e. Cameron Diaz. Many of them have proximity to whiteness, right? So you said, oh, no, they can't be racist. Actually, they can. And whether they can be racist or not is like, I don't even need to get into that terminology. So let's just say I concede, right? They can't be racist. Fine. They can be anti-black. They are anti-black. So whether you want to use the term racist, bigoted, forget it. Are they anti-black? And that is an unequivocal yes. Do you consider Africans black? Well, you know, it's a complicated question. I think that they are racial. Here, let me put it this way. Remember, humans share 99.9% of DNA. So race is a social construct. Under this construct, they would be racially classified as white. However, there is a black ethnonym. That's the ethnicity, which is black. More poignant is foundational Black American freedmen. They are not that, right? So ethnically, no, they're not black. Ethnically, they are African, and nationally, they're whatever nation state that they're tied to. So that would be my answer to that. So let me put this banner up, and then I want to talk about the treatment too, because when people try to say, hey, because one person has a drippity drop of quote unquote Negroid African / black ancestry, then suddenly we are black. It's like, yeah, we're not treated the same. And this is backed by empirical data, right? So we gonna get into this. I told y'all this one would be a banger, but here we go. We got a Latino lunatic and a toxic tether in the chat. You said, so you want to criticize a racially mixed group for saying, I know black, but the true black Africans are not black? Bruh, hold on, man. Bruh, did you not just hear what I said? I like I said, you're not intellectually formidable enough to challenge me. I gave a very thorough and astute breakdown, and you heard what you want to hear because you want to be a moist maniac.
Joke. Who is this Rudy Poo? What? Ho, please. Nigga, please. Ho. Nigga, what? Nigga. Nigga, please. Nigga, please. What? What did you say, nigga?
Again, so we got this toxic tether and Latino lunatic. I know black. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, if you're not black, why are you here, bro? Go in your Latino spaces, bro. Go eat your pico de gallo and jerk off in the corner, bro. You know what I mean? Listening to some Ricky Martin, whatever you want to do. Like, why are you here, bro? You're not black, bro. You're a Latino lunatic, bro. And again, I said that Africans would be classified as racially black. Did you not hear me say that? Racially, they are black. Ethnically, no. I mean, how many videos have you heard? I know black. It wasn't just you. It wasn't just the low IQ lunatic Latinos like yourself. It was others. I'm not black. I'm Haitian. I'm not black. I'm Yoruba. I'm not black. I'm Igbo, right? They're saying that I don't want to be identified as a color. Then I say, okay, fine. We won't identify as y'all as a color. See, why are you mad at the Dominicans? It's like, bro, what are you even talking about, bro? You a little moist, goofy little taco tether, bro. Hey, but just do us a favor, bro. Get up out of here, bro. You're not here to build or to learn. So I'm gonna go ahead over there. I had to put the toxic tether on timeout again, like, we don't mind the contrarian views, but it's like, chill with the disrespect. And why are these Dominican cats so why are they so triggered though? Like I said, bruh, if you want to be Latino, go in Latino spaces, but they're always around our spaces. Then they come around our spaces because I was around your space and that's why I want to say nigga. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, bruh. Yeah, there are black Hebrew Israelites that don't call themselves black. They just call themselves Hebrew Israelite. There are black Native Americans / indigenous, and you're none of them. You're not Hebrew and you're not Native. You're a toxic taco tether, a Latino lunatic, a Dominican dolt, and you're rather pathetic too. Let's get back into it. Actually, my bad. Before I get into it, we want to talk about the differences just simply based on skin complexion, right? Now, there was a study by Verna Keith and Cedric Herring, so y'all can look this up. They examined Black Americans using the National Survey of Black Americans, and even after accounting for parental, socioeconomic status, and other characteristics, complexion had a significant effect on educational attainment, occupation, and income. The authors found that complexion could be more consequential as a predictor of occupation and income than parental background and socioeconomic background, right? Now, they talk about the skin tone and the stratification, which is essentially dub supremacy. There was a later study by Goldsmith, Hamilton, and Darity, and it examined the relationship between skin tone and wages. The results were consistent with a preference for whiteness. And if you're not white, then of course they want lighter skin. Now, the hypothesis is that Black workers' skin became darker and the Black-white wage gap, it became larger. Now, it's important to understand that there's also favorable treatment of lighter skinned workers, not just, you feel me? Not just Black workers, light skinned workers. And this has been studied. You can look at the Goldsmith, Hamilton, and Darity study, From Dark to Light. And this isn't an old phenomenon. Another one, Kreisman and Rangel, used nationally representative NLS Y97 data and found the interracial wage gaps between Black men of different skin tones widened with experience. They also found that the earnings gap between the lightest skinned Black workers and whites remained relatively stable, suggesting that the conventional Black and white racial boundary can become less economically predictive at lighter shades. Now, Joni Hirsch in 2024 research, she examined immigrants in the United States using a 2015 to 2024 current population survey data linked to skin color information. After controlling for extensive labor market characteristics and race ethnicity, darker skinned immigrants experienced a substantial earnings penalty. The study reports that the lightest skinned immigrants earned about 17% more than otherwise comparable to the darkest skinned immigrants in the underlying comparison. Now, this is particularly relevant because people try to pretend we're all people of color, we're all racial minorities, and that we have the same treatment within a particular, field or something. But these are not equivalent, right? Two people can both be categorized as minorities and still occupy different positions along a phenotypical hierarchy, right? And again, so we got this dude right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get you up out of here. So I would just put this dork because we got a toxic tether in the chat. So I had to put him on timeout. And then if because like I said, you're not bringing anything of value to the discussion. After that, I'm gonna just have to block you because again, they can't debunk anything I'm saying. So they have to call names and stuff. So it's rather pathetic. Now, when you look at the criminal justice system, Tracy Birch analyzed sentencing data involving black and white men in Georgia. Among first-time offenders, the race-only and race-plus skin color models found black defendants received sentences approximately 4.25% longer than white defendants, even after accounting for legally relevant factors such as offense type. This is a form of systemic racism, right? If you account for all of the variables, black people, black men specifically, still get more time on average for committing the same crime. But the broader literature goes beyond simply comparing black and white defendants, right? So they say when you compare a black person to a light-skinned person, the disparity is even greater, where they give even more favorable and preferential treatment to the lighter skinned black person in juxtaposition to a white person with the black person. So these numbers are very astonishing, but they've done studies. You can look these up, right? So again, when we're talking about the color of punishment, darker black skinned, equals more harsher sentences. So when we talk about physical appearance and effect in sentencing, they examined 850 booking photographs of black and white male offenders in 2 Minnesota counties and linked their appearance to sentencing records. Their researchers found that darker skin tones and more Afrocentric facial features were associated with harsher sanctions. So essentially, if you look black, even if you ain't black, if you look black, i.e., this dude right here. Hold on, let me pull this down, right? If you have what will be considered Afrocentric features, this can determine how much time you get, right? Now, the system knows that. So essentially, let me say, this is analytically important because it demonstrates that the mechanism isn't necessarily that, hey, this person is black, therefore it discriminates. It can instead operate by what a person looks like, stereotypes activated, perception of dangerousness, criminality, treatment, right? In other words, phenotype can matter independently of formal racial identity. So regardless if this dude says that, yeah, I identify as mixed, his phenotype may get him in hot water because they phenotypically say that, yeah, maybe you're not black. We will acknowledge your mixed ancestry, but you got too many Afrocentric features, so we're going to give you the N-word treatment, right? And there is evidence specifically involving black women. A study examining more than 12,000 black women imprisoned in North Carolina between 1995 and 2009 investigated whether perceived skin tone was associated with prison sentences and actual time served. This study was explicitly designed to test whether lighter skin was associated with more lenient criminal justice outcomes, the impact of light skin on prison time for black female offenders. So this isn't merely a phenomenon documented among black men, it's among black people. So yes, if you do the same, if it's a white dude and a black dude that does the same crime, a white dude is automatically going to get less crime. If it's this light-skinned dude on the screen and a black dude who's dark-skinned named Tyrone is automatically going to get more time. One, based off his name and his Afrocentric features, and based on his skin pigment. So I'm going to play a little bit more of this video. I'm going to play one more video, and then we will be up out of here. But I told y'all I will come back and hit y'all with a double header. I got a pretty dope stream planned later, and, hopefully this video is well received, but I do appreciate y'all rocking out. Let's get into it.
Do you feel like we as individuals can choose our race?
We as individuals can choose our race. I think race is biological. I think race is based on genetics. I think that because I've taken my own genealogy and I know what it is. I don't want to publicize it. But yeah, I think if somebody is 40% black, 40% white, 20% indigenous, triracial, they're Pardo, but they look more African. They're African features, I guess you could say. They have more discernible African features. I don't think it'd be fair to tell that person, well, you're just black. You know what I mean? I don't really think it operates like that.
Do you think factory-built housing means compromising on space? Think again.
So this is where they kind of lose me when they say, hey, see, some make the argument that, yes, race is a social construct because humans share 99.6% of DNA or 99.9%, depending on who you ask, right? But he's saying, nah, race is a biological reality. And he's saying that because he wants to say that mixed race is a real thing. But again, look at the vagueness in saying that, hey, I'm biracial. There's a bunch of biracial people that don't look like him. A Japanese person and a white person is biracial. Are they the same race as him simply because it's two quote unquote different races? This stuff just doesn't make any sense, bro.
I believe that a large percentage of our country, if they see you and if they identify a mixed person, they will guarantee that there's African DNA in there.
For sure.
But they cannot guarantee whatever else. They cannot see and identify whatever else you may. No one could say that person
that
is
I
mixed.
disagree with. That I would disagree with. 100% I would.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying, bro. So again, look how vague this term is. I'm mixed race. Someone that's biracial is mixed race, and someone that's triracial is mixed race. So again, can triracial people classify as mixed? Well, technically they are mixed, right? And how technical do we want to get? Because technically we're all mixed. When they say do a DNA test, right? And the DNA test shows a mixture, right? But then if you have a mixture, they go off how you phenotypically present. Look at foundational Black Americans, right? They have a mixture of European ancestry, a mixture of indigenous, a mixture of African ancestry, right? But you can't rely on the mixture. You have to call yourself what? One generic African, one generic Negro or something like that, right? So literally we all have a mixture of something, but we can't all call ourselves mixed. Why not? If we all have a mix. So you have to draw a line in the sand and say, yeah, I may have a mixture, but this is how I identify. That's why it just keeps going back to your autonomy and intellectual sovereignty. Yeah, I appreciate you, bro, for sliding through. So salute to Mr. FMA Progress. But let me play a little bit more and then I'm going to pivot to the next one.
Disagree with that. Yeah, 100% I disagree with that.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking, which one of your parents is Black?
I don't want to say that publicly. I don't know if I want to say that publicly.
Okay. Is one of your parents Black and the other white?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough for me. You mean to tell me that whichever parent is the white one, you mean to tell me that we can identify that as specific lineage when we see you?
They might not be able to know exactly what it is, but to a more keen eye, they'd be able to.
But can they guarantee the Black?
Yeah, for sure.
Can they guarantee anything outside of that?
I mean, they would probably, based on where we are geographically, they'd probably assume white on some level.
They will assume anything, but they cannot guarantee it. But they can guarantee Black, yes or no.
But they know. Because I'll tell you this, right? I'll tell you this.
Okay, so that was just like the part one, and then he came and talked to this dude again, but he had some other people call in. So he had a mixture of melanated people calling in. Some of them were FBA, some of them were not, and they were kind of questioning and scrutinizing his perspective on Blackness. So you can watch this video again on Ricardo Ignacio's podcast. My mother is Black and father is white. Now, depending on who you ask, some people will say you are what your father is, right? So if your father is black, you black. If your father is white, you're white, which is why some try to make the argument that, hey, look at Bob Marley. Technically, he's really white because his daddy is white. You know what I mean? I'm not making that argument. I'm just saying that these are the arguments that are out there. Also, you know, some people try to put it in biblical principles, talking about the seed of the father, etc. And then if you look in some other communities, it's about the mother, right? If your mother is Jewish, you're Jewish, etc., etc., right? So we're gonna break down the biracial, babbling, bigoted, bloviating bozo. And some of this stuff is insufferable. You know, I wish Ricardo would have did a better job of moderating, because, you know, this dude is going to babble incoherently and uncontrollably and kind of start over talking people. So some of these talking points may be hard to dissect just because he had low impulse control.
Makeup.
So if they look mulatto, then they could be mulatto. Like, oh, well, you know what, you look like,
yeah.
one of us.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll make exceptions.
How am I going to identify you as a group? And I'm like, okay, well, you know what, he looks like, because some mulattoes don't look mulatto. Some people, they don't look as mulatto as others, if you will. So then are they still part of the group if they don't look as mulatto as you?
Well, you know, you want a kind of a sense of homogeneity, ideally, but you know,
So
there could be people. No, I'm saying you want to aim for homogeneity, you know, for reasons I think are obvious, but technically they're not us. You know, they're just not us. It is what it is. They're not us. They can't be us, and that's okay. But we can make exceptions. Let's say we had a culture, hypothetically, if they wanted to marry in, if they wanted to adopt our traditions, adopt our ways, adopt our culture, there have to be kind of a process by which they work their way into the group. It wouldn't just be like, you know, we're going to bring you in, you know, because you're 75% white or 75% black. To me, that's like kind of defeats the whole purpose. You want to have a sense of homogeneity.
If a person looks too much like Rebecca, that's just not mulatto no more. Even if you by genealogy you are a mulatto to you, as long as they're not
what I said.
As long as they don't look too much like that way. Rebecca.
No.
So essentially he's over here saying, oh yeah, he's over here like trying to ride for the mulattoes, right? All a mulatto is supposed to be a black and a white person, specifically a foundational black American, or if you want to say a enslaved African or a freedman and a European person. That's what a mulatto actually is, right? He's saying, yeah, in order for you to be part of the quote unquote mulatto club, you need to be presenting a certain way. So if this chick is dark, right, she has a European parent and an African parent or a Negro parent, but she came out on the darker side, he doesn't want to classify her as mulatto because they're not as light. See, that's one thing about many of these kind of biracial bigots, is that they want to try to pretend as if they're victims and they were attacked by the black community, but the black community accepted them. If someone clowned them for being too light, or, you know, it's like kids clown on each other. We'll clown you for anything. We clowned each other. So it's a hazing process. So if we'll clown our own family members, our brothers, sisters and stuff, why wouldn't we clown an outsider, someone who's trying to get close proximity but are not really like us or don't really want to be a part of us? Then what? We should embrace you with open arms? No, we should have clowned you even harder, to be honest.
No, I said no.
That's
Ricardo,
literally what you explained.
No. I said
let me bring somebody else.
No, I said no. It's genetically impossible, but we make an exception based on the genealogy.
Go ahead, Ebony.
They would fit the criteria.
Okay. You spoke for a whole entire hour, so I'm just going to say this. I know you don't know the difference between FBA, and I know you don't know the difference between the African American, because there are people from the continent who come over here who may identify as an African American, or they may identify with the country that they came from.
from the African continent within America, and that's fine, that's okay. But you said some disrespectful things about FBAs in general, and that's what I don't like. You also said some disrespectful things about the people on the continent, talking about their hair texture. That was the first thing that you said that was anti-Black. There are Black people from the continent, there are Black people who live in America who have different types of hair textures. It ranges from all different ranges of hair textures. So what you said was wrong, and it was foul information. You are on some mulatto type of supremacy. And you need to go get that checked. You're the one who has the mental
We're not
illness about
superior
that.
to anyone.
No,
we're
it
not
is.
superior to anybody.
Yes,
We're
because
all
you just
equal.
shitted
I
on
love
us.
everybody.
You shitted on us the whole entire time that you were sitting up there, and you said the most disrespectful things about FBAs, and you said disrespectful things about people from the continent.
Bro, why did he cut her off? You want to talk about chimping out? This dude is, let's call it lottoing out. he hit the lotto. Let's call it that. Instead of chimping out, this dude hit the lotto, bruh. We're not superior than anyone. We're not superior. It's like, bruh, you cut her off to say that. This sister was speaking in a very clear, coherent manner, right? He had no reason to cut her off. And then he didn't even cut her off with no scholarship. He cut her off with some troll stuff to whine. This is not a strong showing for the lottos. Bruh hitting the lotto, but he dropped the ball and he dropped the bag. This is rather pathetic.
You just sit up here and you just talked to this young lady, and you said if anybody who looked like her, you just said that they could not even be admitted into the ethnic group. That is disrespectful because you are going based on her phenotype. Yes, you are. You looked at that woman's phenotype. You looked at that woman's phenotype, and you sit up there and you discriminated against her because of the way she looked. And she tried to explain to you where she was from. She tried to explain to you her ethnic background. Like I said, we sat here and we let you talk for a whole entire hour, and now you won't let anybody else talk. You won't let anybody else talk. You want everybody else to keep hearing your mulatto.
You're a liar.
Now he's acting like a little sassy stooge. You're a liar. You're a deceiver. It's like, come on, bruh. This dude is a moist maniac. Like, bruh, let the lady talk. And like I said, this is where Ricardo, I know he's trying to make it more organic and not seem like he's favoring a side, but this is your platform and for the viewers, right? Like, I think this dude should have ample time to speak because we need to have this kind of biracial, bloviating, bigoted babble on display, because this doesn't represent every person that claims to be mixed or biracial, but there is a growing and a problematic contingent that people don't want to address. Oh man, whatever, it's just him. No, it's more than just him. You know what I mean? But yeah, Ricardo, mi amigo, man, you got to moderate these discussions better because this sis was cooking, and then, you know, this little pudgy Pillsbury doughboy keeps over talking her, bro. I can barely hear what she's saying.
No, you're a deceiver.
You're a liar.
You sit up
You're
here and you told lies.
You are a liar. I'm only
interested in civil discussions. I don't go back and forth with crazy people. And you told lies about people in this country, Black people in this country.
Listen to how stupid this dude sounds. He says, get this chick out of here. I only want a civil discussion. But he overtalked her and cut her off and start doing some uncivilized stuff. It's like, bro, what are we doing here, bro? The dude is hit the lotto.
You lie. Well, you're the crazy person. You're the one sitting up here wanting to bring back a colonization term called mulatto. You're the one wanting to bring back that term mulatto, which is a half mule. You're the one that's crazy. That is crazy. That is insane. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier, FBAs and African Americans, we are two totally different cultural groups.
Is this productive? Is this helping anybody, Ricardo? Is this productive? This isn't productive. This is
again, no reason to cut her off. Is this productive? It's like he's not helping anyone. Like, he hasn't said anything productive. He said a bunch of talking points that we've heard before, but he's pretending as if he's cooking, right? But he's not. This is just a moist maniac, bruh. Butterball goofy.
That's not a therapy session. I'm not interested in a therapy session.
He won't.
I want a productive conversation, not a therapy session. If you want to talk, we can talk, but I'm not going to let her gish gallop and accuse me of hating blacks. It's crazy. She's saying you're a mulatto supremacist. I'm not supreme anything. I am not. We're all part of the brotherhood of man.
At the end of that, you can't even say black people. You call us blacks. Are you serious? You call us blacks.
I don't understand.
Like,
this woman needs help.
You can't even say black people.
I don't know if this is like Afrocentric or what's going on here. Or she's like anti-mulatto. What about anti-mulatto hate? What happened?
You can't even say black people. At least I can call you a person. You can't even refer.
So again, this dude on the screen said that black people, because he doesn't consider himself black, even though he has a black parent, he considers himself mulatto. And he said that black people have a victim mindset. Mind you, that this person, his daddy is white and he grew up around mostly white people. So most of his friends were white. He grew up in a white environment, going to white schools. So this has shaped his identity, right? And he said, no, I don't hate black people, but he only has vitriol and disdain towards black people, and he has nothing to say about, you know, his white daddy, you know. So when it comes to the dub supremacy and white supremacy, he doesn't just butt kiss, he crack licks. He spreads the cheeks apart and licks up and down and all around. That's how pathetic this dude is. And again, he's a low impulse control lunatic and loser. But let's get back into it. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna get ready to shut this thing down pretty soon. So please hit the like button for your boy, share me, tell a friend to tell a friend. And you know, if you are able to, feel free to make a financial contribution.
Let's talk about mixed hate. Let's talk about mulattophobia.
I don't want. You're not.
Why is there so much hate towards mulattoes? Your mom is white.
Did y'all hear that? Bro said, let's talk about mulatto phobia. Huh?
What? Ho, please.
Nigga, please.
Ho, nigga, what?
Nigga. Nigga, please. Nigga, please.
What?
The same dude that said black people have a victim mindset. Now he's saying that mulattoes are being attacked by who? This is wild, bruh.
And if you don't want to, refer to yourself as black, then don't refer to yourself as black. That's fine. But don't get on here and disrespect black people in America, and don't disrespect black people on the continent, and don't you disrespect black people in the Caribbean. That's all you want to sit up there and do. And you want to sit up there and you want to disrespect black people because you want people to know that you are different from somebody who is monoracial black. And that's on you.
That's not my demeanor. That's not my disposition.
Up there and I'm not interested in that. People who are monoracial black, that is fine.
You should be
Keep
proud
doing
to be black.
That, but you would not spew misinformation because that is what you're doing. You're giving misinformation and disinformation, and you sit up there and you just.
Again, so he's lying. His low impulse control. He's over here. I never spread hate. You just spreaded a bunch of bigoted lies and narratives about black people. And mind you, this dude has a black parent, but don't try to project the blackness onto him. Don't look at this dude and say, if the cops pull him over, they gonna see a black man. Well, when he looks in the mirror, he doesn't see a black man. He sees a white dude because his daddy is white. And since his pappy won't accept him as white, he just accepts him as his son. His white dad doesn't even think that he's white, but he wants the world to see him as something other than that, right? He wants the world to see him as a different race from his dad and his mom, right? Because he's saying he's not white, he's not black, I'm mulatto, but your dad is not mulatto. Your dad is white and your mom is quote unquote black. We don't know if she's African, Caribbean, or foundational. I'm gonna go on a limb and say she's not foundational. Sounds like, unfortunately, his mom could have been a suspected tether, a suspected bed wench, because, you know, there's a lot of hatred. I can't say it's self-hate because remember, he's not black, so he doesn't see himself as black. So it's not self-hate. It's just some biracial bozo bigot babble. That's all this is. But at least we've been joined. I asked where Brooklyn at, and Brooklyn sounds like Brooklyn was hiding. Cause my boy Cloudness, hey bruh, where the hell you been, brody? Cloudness, you coming in late, bruh. And to be real, Cloudness,
you know what I'm saying? I don't like that shit.
Nope.
I don't like that you came in late, bruh. But salute to Cloudness 457, the Brownsville bully in building. No, I appreciate you, bro. I'm about to get ready to shut it down pretty soon, but I'm gonna come back later and hit y'all with a double header. You said last time I got a real headache from the tether babbling too much. Yeah, no. Nah, I hear you, bro. That was a tether tirade. So bruh, my apologies, bruh. My apologies. But let's play a little bit more of this and then we gonna get up out of here.
Discriminated against that young lady that was up there a while ago, as she was explaining to herself, she was explaining to you and who she was, and you sat up there and you still discriminated against her.
I'm done with this, Ricardo. If she wants to give her little stump speech, that's fine. I'm not interested. Bye.
Let me tell you something before you go.
You can't come up here and say I hate black people, call me a mulatto supremacist.
No, you said you were gone. No,
I never said.
But you want to keep talking.
I never said I was a mulatto supremacist. That's a lie. I'm not superior to anybody. I love everybody.
That's what you are. You are a sassy man. You are a sassy man. You said you wanted to hang up the phone.
Very good. Hold on. Very good. Very good. Very good.
You said you wanted to hang up the phone.
Very good. Very good.
Hang up the phone.
Problem.
Very good. Very good.
The problem is that all she's doing is responding and reacting to all the things that you said regarding Black Americans and people of Africa. See, that's the problem.
They're more disrespectful to Africa than me. FBAs, I love Africa and Africans. I have African supporters. These FBAs hate Africans more than everybody else. These FBAs are the most anti-African people on the planet. They call us all kinds of Akadas.
Now he's lying. It's like, bro, you ain't FBA, so how are you trying to speak on a FBAs hate African, bro? You hate that you have a drop of melanin. You hate that you have a drop of Negroid, bro. Nobody hates Africans, bro. All we're saying is that we're not continental or cultural Africans. That's it. Nobody is saying, no one hates Africans more than the African tethers that fled Africa. Africans right now on the continent of Africa are beating each other over the head with bushmeat bones and bamboo sticks. Some, not all, right, are doing that. If you look at Sudan is in Africa. Why do they we want to be called South Sudan? Why? It's the same country. They can't even get along. The same country can't get along so much that they want to divide the country into Sudan and South Sudan. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, right? They're coming together to create AES, right? But then ECOWAS is trying to work with the Western powers to invade these places. Ghanaians are kicking Nigerians out. South Africans are kicking Nigerians out, right? This is all happening in Mama Africa. This is not to disparage, demean, or ridicule anyone. I'm just saying, where's the lie? If you want Pan-Africanism, go practice it in Africa, right? Do you want Pan-Africanism or pan pizza, right? Because you can eat pan pizza anywhere. But if you want to unite Africa, you need to be doing it in Africa. Oh my goodness. Again, we got another toxic tether in the building. FBA are the most anti-African people on the planet. Yeah, just because someone said that doesn't make it true. Again, no one hates Africa more than the toxic tethers that are fleeing Africa. They're not stand to fight. They're not stand to clean up anything. They're not stand to ensure that many people are not defecating in the streets so that they don't have turd water to drink out of and bathe, right? Instead, they want to come here and say, I got a degree, right? Then when Trump calls their countries S-hole countries, many of them agree with Trump. So they agree with Trump that called their nations sugar honey iced tea holes, but then they're mad at FBA. He called me a tether, right? So what is worse, a sitting president calling your homeland a shithole, or someone calling you a tether based on your behavior trying to undermine the foundational population? Those two are not even equivalent. It's stupid hot in Texas. I try to stay cool in the heat. It's 100. Dang, hey, let me know when it's cool to visit Texas. Tell me when it's not too hot and tell me when it ain't no tornadoes. I'm gonna have to come pull up on you, doggy. You feel me? You gonna show me around, Cloudness, or what, bruh? Don't have me stranded in Texas, my brother. Don't have me stranded. But salute to the Brody Cloudness. I'm gonna play a little bit more and then we gonna get up out of here because looks like the toxic tethers are, you know, becoming insufferable.
What have we done to people from the continent that white supremacists haven't done?
You guys hate
what
Africans.
Have we done?
You don't even want to be identified as
How
African.
do we hate them? How do we hate them? Because we stand up to people who disrespect us. That's
African,
hate. That's hate.
The FBAs are curious.
You're talking about people who come from the continent. You said earlier that
they don't want to be identified as African.
That's what you're talking about. You're not talking about a representative of people who are coming from the African continent, because the people who are coming from the African continent are not like that. So you are lying. That is another lie that you told. You told another lie. You set up here and
you guys hate on Africans every day.
You just curate all type of information on your FYP. You don't find any information
all the black people out there, I love you guys. There's no hate. There's no. I'm not a supremacist. I reject supremacy. I reject any racial hatred. I believe everybody is equal. I believe everybody is equal under God. I love everybody.
Again, why is he over talking her just to like babble? I love everyone. I believe in this. I believe in that. It's like, bro, stop chimping out, bro. And this is what I call hit the lotto, because it's a mulatto. And I'm just saying that this is a mulatto chimp out. That's all this is, bro. Like, compose yourself, right? He keeps saying the blacks do this and the black criminality and black fatherless homes, because that's what he was on. He was talking about, what about black on black crime? Well, what about it? You're not black. You're a toxic mulatto maniac and moron, bro. Worry about the mulatto community. And this is what's very pathetic about people that identify as mixed. They have no business of their own because they want to be like, hey, we want to be identified as our own racial group, our own ethnicity, but they don't stand on anything for their own. It just comes back to black or white. Black people said this. White people said that. You heard him talk about mulatto phobia? Like, come on, bruh. Have anyone ever heard that term? He said that blacks play the victim card, but then now he's playing the mulatto victim card. But it's supposed to be different when he does it because he's light-skinned. Again, a light-skinned, low IQ lunatic.
There's no hate. I love everybody.
No, you don't. Not what you just said to this young lady who up on this panel. No, you don't. You sat up here and you discriminated against that young lady. You're doing it.
Okay, Cloudness says the best time to visit Texas is during December, January, and February when the weather is good. Okay, I'm going to slide out there. You got me, Cloudness? You feel me? You going to be my tour guide or what? You feel me? I might pull up. You feel me? I know you out in the A. You feel me? Austin. But, you know, I got folks in the DH Dub and H-Town. You feel me? But salute to all my Texas family. And I know that Cloudness is a NYC, you feel me, at heart, but you know, he's just a Texas resident. But if I got any Texans in the chat, salute, because I do know some people that are in H-Town, the DH Dub, and I think like Lubbock or something like that. But yeah, salute to the Brody.
You're doing it to me, and now you're just lying about what we do towards Africans on the continent. You are a liar.
When they can't debate the genealogy, they just accuse you of being racist. That's all they do. And this is exactly why people are getting fed up. Because when we say, hey, black people do this and that, when I say we want to be identified as mulatto,
you wanted to get up here and show everybody that you were different, that you were different, that you had a white parent and a black parent, and that's fine. But then you want to act like you're supremacist. You're supreme
I don't think I'm superior to anybody. I never said I was supreme. I'm not superior to anybody. I'm not superior to anybody. I'm not superior to anybody. I never said I was superior. I never said I was superior.
Does not agree with you. You get pissed off with that. A while ago, you just wanted to hang up the phone, but you're still on the phone though. And then you just sit up here and you just disrespect the FBAs, and you lied on the people about on the African continent. You are a liar, sir.
The problem, mulatto, is that you are not okay with people reacting and responding to your disrespect, and you also want to police You want to police the way they feel about the way you make them feel when you disrespect them. That's not.
Says, could I suggest the dude's socials? I don't know the dude's socials. The dude that the video I'm reacting to, his name is Ricardo Ignacio, and I think he hosts like a TikTok live or something, and then people call in. So I don't know what this dude is. I seen Progress in the chat was talking about mixed mulatto activists. So I don't know if he was referring to that. That's what this dude channel is. So you can look that up. Look up mixed mulatto activists. But then also I found this content on Ricardo Ignacio's channel. So it's called the Ricardo Ignacio podcast. And salute for those coins. I do appreciate that, Cloudness. You said I'm actually supposed to be going to California this winter. Yeah, tap in. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be in the Bay. I'm in the Bay Area. So like San Francisco, Oakland area. But let me know what part of CA you going to be in. Just tap in. So I'm going to play a little bit more of this and then I will be ready to shut her down.
Mulatto hate? What about biracial hate? There's a lot of biracial mulatto hate.
Don't nobody hate you. Ain't nobody doing
what about
nothing
biracial
to you
hate?
that white
hate?
people. What have black people done to you?
You're a mixed breed. You diluted your bloodline.
What have black people done to you that white people are not?
So again, he's saying, what? Remember earlier, he was saying, what about black on black crime? What about fatherless homes? Right? He was crying and whining, right? Now he's saying, what about mulatto phobia? Right? So he's pretending as if biracials are receiving a bunch of hatred simply because they're biracial. But I've already did just a very brief breakdown of how they receive preferential treatment just based on their lighter skin. Now they won't receive white privilege, but they will receive light-skinned privilege, which is juxtaposed to how they will treat a darker skinned black person or a melanated individual. So, I mean, show me the history of mulattoes being lynched. Show me the history of mulattoes being redlined. If that happened to them, it wasn't because they were identified as mulatto. It's because they were identified as being black. But remember, he doesn't want to identify as black. Mixed. Okay, fine. Stop talking about black people, bro. We don't want to hear, from your toxic tether mouth, bro.
What have they done?
They not like us. What about
nobody erasing you? You're erasing yourself. You are erasing yourself. You got all this anger directed towards black people, but your anger ain't directed towards some folks. But you mad at us.
Everybody.
You mad at us. But you not mad at the white tea people. You not mad at the white tea people for colonizing your ass. But you mad at us. You mad at the black people.
White people created this whole mess.
We didn't do a damn thing to you.
So again, he's saying white people created this whole mess. It's not black people's fault, but you keep blaming black people. He keeps talking about what about black on black crime? Remember, he's half white, but he never will talk about what about white on white crime? What about, white on white incest? What about white on white PDF files, right? He won't talk about the white on white pedo crimes, right? But he will talk about black people and black fatherless homes. Okay, fine. Let's talk about the black fatherless home, but let's talk about the school shooters who grew up in a 2-parent household. I mean, what's worse? A black kid growing up in a fatherless home around dilapidated buildings with poorly funded educational institutions, and this person leads a life of crime? Yeah, that's horrible. I wish it didn't happen. I wish those circumstances didn't play out like that, but you can understand that, right? You see, well, he didn't have a father around. Well, these buildings were dilapidated. Well, he didn't get a good education, right? It's not an excuse, but it is an explanation. What's the explanation for these people who grew up with a silver spoon? Some of these people grew up with a platinum spoon in their mouth, both parents there and a grandpappy. Many people, because we have a lower life expectancy, a lot of people didn't even know their grandma, and at least if they did, it wasn't for a long time. So these people grew up around their parents, and then they grew up to be a school shooter or some deranged killer. Who raised Jeffrey Dahmer? Who raised Charles Manson? Who raised the Zodiac killer? Were they raised in a fatherless home? Fair questions to ask.
We didn't
It's
do a
not black
damn thing
people's
to
fault.
you, but
It's
you
not
ain't got
y'all's
no
fault.
smoke for
Yes,
the white
ma'am.
tea people
No, you're
who
right.
put that
You're
shit in your
right.
damn
They
head.
did.
You
You're
ain't
right.
got
They
no
did.
smoke for them
The
damn people.
Anglos did. The
You ain't
Anglos
got no
did. The
smoke for
Anglos
them,
did
but you
after
want to
that.
come
I
after
do.
us.
I do. I agree with you.
You need to
But
direct
in
your anger towards some
2026, the
folks because
Anglos
we
are
ain't
not.
got
The
nothing to
Anglos
do
are not
with it.
trying to gaslight me. The
You need to
Anglos
go
are not
talk to your
complaining
damn
about
mama.
mulatto.
That's who
Not
you
in
need to go talk to.
2026.
Go
So all
talk
I'm
to your
saying is there
mother.
needs to be some
Go
respect.
talk to your
Some
mother and
respect,
stop
some
taking it out on
reciprocity.
other black
What about
people
the
because you sitting
anti-biracial
up
hate?
here
What
mad
about
at
the
all black
anti-mulatto
people.
hate? What
You
about the
mad? Ain't nobody
anti-biracial hate,
anti nothing.
anti-mulatto hate?
Ain't
Oh,
no
yes, y'all
anti. There's
are.
no
Yes,
such
you
thing.
guys are.
You made
Look at
that
this
up.
light skin. Look at
There's
this
no
soft
such
ass
thing
light
as
skin.
that.
You guys have
There's no such
anti-mulatto
thing
hate
as that.
too. So give me a
There's no
break. I
such
don't
thing
want
as
to hear this.
anti-mulatto hate.
So he's saying because people are saying things like light skin energy or look at this soft light skin dude. It's like, nah, bro. Somebody is saying you're a softie because you're a softie. You're not a softie because you're light skinned. Like some people say, hey, you don't want to fight that light skinned nigga in the hood because that light skinned nigga in the hood, they grew up facing the brunt of all those light skinned jokes. So the light skinned cats from the soil, from the hood, like if you meet a Deshaun from the hood or you meet a light skinned Jamal from the hood, or a light-skinned Maurice, bro might put hands on you. You think, oh, look at this light-skinned dude. Yeah, not all light skin is created equal, right? There's a difference between light-skinned Dante and light-skinned Duncan Penderhughes, right? Light-skinned Dante Jenkins versus light-skinned Duncan Penderhughes, right? There's a difference, right? You know what I mean? So he's over here trying to make it seem like because someone ridiculed some light-skinned people that somehow that's anti-mulatto hate. Like, bruh, most light-skinned people don't even call themselves mulatto. And there is a difference between being a light-skinned black person and a biracial person. There's light-skinned people who have two black parents, but they're light skinned. And then there are biracial people who have lighter skinned, but they don't necessarily identify as black. They may identify as mixed, etc. And then based on their light skin, they'll say, I have light skin, but people is like, bruh, you confusing because we thought you was quote unquote black. And then they say, no, don't call me black. I'm mixed. It just goes back and forth. And then you got people like this, buck broken biracial bozo at the bottom, saying I'm not black, I'm mulatto, which is fine, bro. Just stay out of black business.
There's no such thing as anti. Y'all sit there and y'all get together and y'all cry about shit that happened 20 years ago. You get mad because somebody sit up there and picked on you 20 years ago, and then you want to take that to heart and say, y'all discriminate against us. There's no such thing as a person being light skinned.
Why is she so mad?
That is not colorism.
I never said it was colorism. I said it was hate. I never said it was colorism. I said it was hate.
Keep saying the anti-blackness. That's what
When
you
I
said
said I
about
was
the other young
anti-black.
lady that was up there.
I
The
didn't say
only reason
anything
why you saying that
anti-black.
is because I'm a black
She's
woman.
crazy.
The only reason why.
And he didn't catch it is because he said, there she goes being angry again, leaning into the tropes of the angry black woman. And what some people try to do is they try to troll you and they think that I'm trolling you with class because they smile. Dude, why are you so triggered? Why are you getting angry, bro? Like they say stuff that, get you angry. And then if you raise your voice, not because you're angry, it's just because you're disappointed, you're disgusted, and you may be impassioned when you're making a point. Dude, you're triggered, right? Like they'll purposely try to trigger you. And then if you do get triggered, see, why are you triggered, bro? Like, no, why were you trying to trigger me? And sometimes people are not actually triggered. They're responding to you in a vociferous, in a vehement way so that they don't get triggered. And on top of that, it's like, bruh, if you said some foul stuff, yeah, I may get triggered. And now I'm triggered to a level that I need to check you. You feel me? And you better check yourself before you get wrecked. You may not wreck yourself, personally, but you will get wrecked by somebody that checks you. Just saying.
I'm saying that because I'm a black woman and I'm passionate about what I'm talking about.
She's crazy.
That's the only reason why you're saying I'm mad and I'm crazy, because I am a black woman and I am passionate about what I am talking about.
Insane person.
You're delusional too for wanting to bring back a colonization term. I'm not the one that wants to do that. You're the one that wants to do that.
Colonization. The word black.
You're the one that wants to do that.
The word black.
Your whole line is colonization, and then on top of that, you want to bring back a colonization
Why don't you guys make up a new term? You guys are talking about
mad at your mama. I don't know why you mad at me. Go call your mom an idiot. You calling me an idiot. Go call your mom an idiot and go call your dad an idiot. Because this is what they produce. This is what they produce. And you're the one that's calling me an idiot. You're the one that is colonized, sir. That's not me. You're the one that want to sit up here.
Crazy.
You want to praise up and
black
big up
people
a
were called
colonization,
Negro.
sir.
Black people were called
You're
Negro
the one that want to keep doing the
movement. Then they would claim the word black.
So here we have another low IQ maniac and a moron, and they never show their face. That's why at least I respect Progress. Progress shows his face, comes up and stands on business for his mixed heritage. This person, I guess you think that white people are the only ones that could get wrecked. Literally no one was talking about white people because the dude I was referring to is not white. He's literally a person that identifies as mixed. So this is where these people have this main character syndrome where no one is talking about whites and they're saying, dude, white people are victims, bro. Like nobody even said anything about white people. The conversation is literally about black people and mixed people. No one is talking about white people. So it's like, come on, bruh. Hey, if you gonna come in here babbling and whining incoherently,
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
I'm just saying, once you hear it, it's already too late. It's like, bro, you're a coward, bro. You won't even show your face. Look at your name, Mike S6H3Q. It's like, come on, bro. You're trying to make these veiled threats, but you're a pathetic nincompoop, a Nimrod and a nitwit, bruh. So like, come on, bro. You're not scaring anyone. You're not tough. And it's always someone, they always talk tough, right? They're tough enough to threaten you, just not tough enough to put a profile pic, just not tough enough to hit the link and cam up and show their face, right? So again, like, who are you threatening? No one was talking about white people, but here you have this Mayo maniac coming over here to threaten black people because of reasons. You have no reason to threaten black people. It's just you're looking for a reason to harm a black person. Just get out of here, you sick, disgusting Mayo mutant and maniac.
The word black used to be offensive. Now and there's still black people who don't like the word black.
Never
Do I
was
hear
offensive.
anybody complaining about that? No,
the word
no,
black never was
nobody's
offensive. We
complaining
were
about
always
that.
black and proud. Hell, James Brown made a
That's
song
not
about I'm black and
true.
I'm
That's
proud.
not true.
So stop
That's
that.
not true.
And he's trying to say, yeah, there are pockets of people that say, why y'all call yourselves black? Black is just a color, right? There were toxic people of other backgrounds that were trying to push that on us. But for us, we were always cool with being called black. Historically black colleges, Black History Month, black this, black that. We were okay with blackness. It's just other people that tried to come out and do an identity imposition, wanting us to call ourselves generic Africans and things like that. So my family, we've always leaned on and leaned into blackness.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. That is not true.
Your
They
lies
were
got
called
lies.
Negroes.
Your lies
and
got
Negro
lies,
was
sir.
considered
You
a
can't even
respectable,
keep up with your own
dignified
lies.
word
Your
in the
lies
40s and
got
30s
lies.
and 20s. It was Negro. They didn't use the word black. Black guys
Black
were
people
in the
have
50s and
always been
60s.
creative, and black people have always been
So
creative.
you guys can
and
take
we
it back.
Again, so this dude is not black, but yet he's trying to argue about, what black people want to be called and what they didn't like and all this stuff. Like, how would you know? Oh, well, my mama is black. Yeah, but you're not black. So you can't truly speak from experience. You're from an outside observer. So, your assertions and assumptions could only go so far. Now, this dude goes on and continues to babble incoherently, but, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down there. And depending on how well received this video is, I may come back and do an extended version touching on some other aspects of, this specific issue and mentality. But I do appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I thought that this has been a fruitful stream. And this person said, hold on, because so I know this person's been trolling, but they have been rocking around. So I do appreciate you, Yeshua, even though you have been babbling incoherently, right? You have been doing some, toxic tethering, but I appreciate it. You said all of you support the military actively destabilizing each and every nation on this planet that is melanated. What are we talking about? Who raised Psycho Lloyd Austin or Michael Langley? Again, so why are you only pointing out the quote unquote black people, right? Those black people are just following orders. So he goes on to try to blame the military. The military is not run by black people, right? They'll put a token black in a position that has to answer to white people. So it's like, look, the blacks are running it. No, they're not. They're in a token position that they have to answer to someone else. And rather than talking about the system in its whole and talk about the people who actually run the system, you want to single out, hey, what about the blacks though? It's like, come on, bro. Just stop whining. This is again some anonymous African tether that refuses to show their face, refuses to hit links, but just whines in the chat. You know what I mean? So are you in America, or are you in one of these destabilized nations? Because when people talk about America destabilizing these nations, I don't agree with U.S. imperialism, these coups d'etats and installing puppet leaders. I don't agree with all that, right? But in order for that to stop, they'll say America is bad, and then they'll come to America and then just whine about how bad America is while enjoying the fruits of enslaved labor, the fruits of undocumented labor, the fruits of the lineage that fought, bled, and died here and fought in every war. You want to enjoy the fruits of that while at the same time admonishing and saying, America is bad. It's like, yeah, so why are you here? They destabilized my country. It's like, okay, how is your country going to get stabilized? Right? You run to the country that supposedly destabilize your country. You think that that's going to build your country up. And then you think that you're going to shame people to death by wagging your fingers. Americans are bad. Okay, well, why are you here with the bad Americans? Go to your homeland and help fix it up. If you're this smart, right, and you have all this advice and you have all this wisdom, use that wisdom in your motherland. Go help build up Africa or wherever the heck you from. And you said scary, shook to death. Yeah, I mean, they don't. And that's why I'm about to shut it down. You said I have Savvy Sav podcast on plus you at the same time. Hey, well, I'm about to shut it down so you can rock out with Savvy Savs and salute to the sister, Sabrina Salvati. And I'm going to go ahead and play a series of short visuals, and then we will be out of here. I appreciate y'all for your viewership. Make sure that if you haven't hit the like button, that you do so now. You can leave a financial contribution on the YouTube, or at the bottom, you see my Cash App, $Easy Stack. So here are those visuals without further ado.
Ooh, B-Eazy. We all here to see B-Eazy. We wanna listen to B-Eazy. Ayy, we all like B-Eazy. Nah, matter of fact, we love B-Eazy. Believe me, he really that dude. Subscribe to the channel, it's easy to do. If you care, then go ahead and share this fire content, extraordinarily rare. That's why I put that on mamas, he is that dude. I put that on fathers, he is that dude. So be easy. B-Eazy Dat Dude. Boy, stop playing. You know you that dude and been that dude. Back in the day, he was that dude. Fast forward to today, he's still that dude. Yup, that dude. You can see as clear as day that he here to stay. Either get with the program or move out the way. Ooh. B-Eazy Dat Dude, he back with another one. Be easy, he is that dude. Ooh, he is that dude, be easy, he is the one that you can call so he can get the job done. He about to reign supreme if you thought his run would soon end. He just getting started though. So go ahead and tune in. Be easy, he is that dude. Ooh, 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 he is that dude.
You love me. You really love me. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.